see what I do.
You want to move that just a little bit? Oh, I'm actually on camera, fortunately. Oh well. All right. Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. If I start getting quiet, just let me know. This is the Parsons Field Planning Board. It is 6 p.m., 6:01. I'm Desiree Lyle, I'm the chair. Roger Moreau, Harvey Maycomer, Dan Bushman. John Pepin is on vacation. Jim is not here, and Paul Ferris has resigned. So first order of business is the public hearing for conditional use permit 0047, map R5, lot 25. It's a land lot on North Road. It's for medical and tier 2 adult use cannabis cultivation facility. All right, everybody's going to get a chance to speak. We're going to try to keep this pretty well organized. Please raise your hand since there's so many people here. If you could please stand, state your name, let us know if you're a Parsons Field resident, ask your questions, and we'll keep going around the room as many times as we need to. With that, go ahead. Yes, sir.
To save time, I typed up a little thing, but I don't think we had enough copies. My concern is,
Your name, please,
my
sir.
name is John Lesko.
Thank you.
I live up on Merrill Hill Road. My concern is that it's nobody's fault,
You gotta come over here, Cliff.
but if you look at every comprehensive plan going back to the 90s when Walter really was involved writing one, we've never defined the thing that the land use people have mandated that we do. What do we want the town to look like? The town's gonna grow. The look and feel of the town is what we tried to do. Now, in 3 successive planning boards, I was asked to make a contribution. But basically, the reason why I did this handout is we never differentiated in any meaningful way the difference between village and village residential. And if you look at these definitions, essentially we have eliminated the village residential designation. And the definitions of village and village residential are so similar and so contradictory. If you look at what's going on in Keyser Falls, that would be what village residential says it should be, vice versa.
Is that the handout?
And until we as a town can get together and figure out what we want this town to look like, all of the complaints and pros and cons and everything, they're just going to get worse as we grow. That's the point that I'm trying. Now, for example, look at that. There's our one map. What we need to start is we need to put the tax map superimposed on top of the zoning map. Now, does anybody here know, just from looking at that map, what lot 25 is? Lot 25. And that's typical. It's nobody's fault. We were a little town and we started to grow. And when they asked me to do the research, I looked at the American Farmland Trust. I contacted Smart Growth in Washington, D.C., and on and on and on. But we can't get people to show up to define it so that we could come up with a comprehensive plan that's meaningful. But now, when something like this occurs, everybody says, oh, how did that happen? That's it. If you want a copy, it's around.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Adam Smith. I'm a resident of Parsonsfield. I have an opposition letter that I had some people sign. It's more of just a notification to you and a notification that, and also that I will be notifying them about what decisions are made tonight or as this proceeds. Having said that, I'd like to ask if you've all had a chance to look at the letter that we sent the other day.
Yep.
Okay. Then I'd like to begin. Yes, oh, we have copies, I'm sorry. We're ad-libbing a little bit, but we do have copies if people are interested in them.
Yeah, I'll take one. If you got an extra.
Did you want the original handout copies?
If you want to ask them,
Can I
to do is be,
get one?
that's fine, you guys, I know it's more of a formality, but it's just something that kept it printed or photocopied, and that way I can, whatever I choose to do. All right. All right, I'm gonna get going here. I'll try to make it my part quick. We have a few other people that'll take some of the letter as well. For brevity, I'll start. I respectfully request that the planning board consider the following as the basis for denial of the application for commercial cannabis cultivation at 574 North Road. Structure must be compliant before conditional use review. Before reviewing the conditional use standards, the planning board must first determine whether the structure complies with the land use ordinance and required permits. The record does not show that the structure meets those requirements. Two principal uses on a single lot is not permitted. Land use ordinance does not allow more than one principal use on a lot. In Moreau versus Town of Parsonsfield, the zoning board of appeals interpreted the ordinance to prohibit a second principal use where a single-family residence already exists. Commercial cannabis cultivation facility is a separate principal use, not an accessory use. Approval would therefore create two principal uses on the same lot, which is not allowed. Structure is permitted and misclassified as a farm building. The permit was issued for a farm building. However, this term is not defined in the ordinance. When a term is not defined, Maine law says it should be understood using its ordinary everyday meaning and in a way that fits the purpose of the ordinance as a whole. A farm building is generally understood to mean a structure that supports farming and is secondary to an active farm operation on the property. A 6,000 square foot indoor cannabis cultivation facility is a primary commercial operation focused on intensive indoor production rather than a building that is secondary to traditional farming activities. For that reason, the structure does not meet the ordinary meaning of a farm building, and that misclassification appears to have allowed the project to avoid review requirements that would have otherwise applied to its actual use. Thank you.
Exactly right. That's at 6,000 feet. Square feet.
Go ahead, Cliff.
My name's Cliff Krolik. I'm a resident of Parsonsfield. I'm also a former member of the planning board with PAC. I did a little independent research, and many of you have already, at least the board's taken a look at this. And my question is why would somebody get a permit for one size and then build another size? Now, we're not talking about a little, we're talking about building a building that is 1/3 bigger than the permit required. Why would somebody do that? Anybody have any questions? Answers? Yes?
My question is that I'm living on 160, you tell me you live on 160. I never even knew they were gonna build a 4,500 square foot building, never mind a 60.
Right.
And no questions, I mean, usually you have a town meeting, abutters have to be present, you have to be notified, you get 2 weeks consecutive in the newspaper before a meeting. I didn't hear any of that.
I got another question regarding the building. Is there anybody in here that was the builder of that building? No, okay. So, it's clear that the permit was taken out for 4,500 square feet, and the building was built at 6,000 square feet. Is there any question by the planning board here that this was an illegally built building? Why would somebody take a permit out for a smaller building and then build it a third size bigger?
And then ask for more.
And then, why, and can we think that this person is reliable and trustworthy? What's the reason to do that? Is there some reason? Is that person here?
Perhaps they're trying to create self-value.
Possible, yeah, yeah. So, I also have noticed here that, that the initial permit permitted a certain amount of time that, a site review and the code enforcement officer had to take part in it. And if that went past that time, code enforcement officer never met the time frame. So another thing was, another restriction was passed over, totally ignored. And coming to the use that Adam just spoke about, if you look real carefully, it's very clear that there's a whole other set of restrictions that go along with a commercial building. And it's clear that this person was trying to avoid any which way possible any of those other restrictions. And I understand, and I haven't looked too much, but I also read briefly that it's already failed electrical test by an inspector. So I see no reason to rubber stamp this. And just out of curiosity, I mean, I won't ask now, but before we leave, I really have a hard time. If I was a planning board member, and I was in the past, I would have a super hard time approving this with all the restrictions that have been broken.
How did it get passed with all the restrictions getting broken?
Well, it's not passed yet. We're still in that process. And they've got a
He's
vote.
already got a building and he's already in a.
Well, yeah, we know that's been put up illegally.
So.
So, do people feel bad for somebody who put up an illegal building? Do we have a show of hands? Who feels bad?
We're living in a rural area, that we bought to live in a rural area, and we didn't want to have industry, which that's what that is. You don't need that amount of electricity to run a barn, okay? Now we're having that much electricity going, we're having that much of a, it's a factory.
Oh, God, yeah, I mean, you're talking,
And I get nothing against
Why?
it, take it downtown.
You had your hand up next, Walt.
All right, well, thank you. My name is Walter Schott. I live here on North Road. And forgive me, but I'm confused. We had a public hearing, I thought, for his adult use cannabis stuff 2 months ago. So is this a separate
Yes,
issue? So this does not involve the thing that we talked about
correct,
months ago. This is a different thing.
correct.
And,
2 months ago was across the street. This one is this side of the street.
okay, well, again, lots and stuff confused me a little bit. The second question is, did you guys approve his adult use cannabis thing
Across the street?
across the street?
Yes,
You did?
yes,
Okay. Which is why the selectmen are having a meeting on Monday. There's also a Board of Appeals thing in May.
correct.
So as a town, and I don't know if you have any control of this, but shouldn't we resolve the appeal before we move forward with the selectmen's meeting? Because we're just going to get sued again. We're going to be in court forever. It's going to cost me a bunch of money. Where I think everything at this point, revolving anything around that, is you just put on hold until at the very least, the zoning board of appeals gets finished.
So I have no control over the Board of Selectmen.
I understand that.
So yes, so they do have a meeting next week about across the street.
Okay.
The appeal is moving forward for across the street next month. That has no bearing on this application.
This issue is just for you folks.
Correct. This,
Selectmen won't have anything to do with that.
so they will afterwards, because he still needs to get, and make sure I say the correct permits. He still needs to get permits from the select board for this if and when we approve it. If we deny.
But I thought medical production or whatever didn't fall under the purview of the town's cannabis ordinance.
I'm gonna refer to the attorney because I know she knows what permits he will need. His attorney, because I can't tell you right now exactly what the permit is, and I know she can.
Then we should get our attorney to find that out.
Tammy?
Yes. Yes.
What was the question?
So if the planning board were to approve this application tonight, what permit does he then need from the Board of Selectmen to move forward?
Right, so that would be a medical and adult use cannabis cultivation facility permit, tier 2. So that's what the select board would issue if it approves it.
Right. Does that make sense? Well,
I guess, but the timing of all of these things, I feel a little bit better that this is a different issue than the first one. But it all feels to me like there's some shady stuff going on
Yeah.
as far as the timing. Like that the town has decided or been convinced that we should just do this and hopefully everybody will just shut up and go away. Like I'm not feeling good about the process.
Okay, first of all, we're still talking about that building up in the woods.
correct.
Where is their power coming from?
Chris?
The CMP grid.
Speak up.
The CMP grid,
But where?
160, and then it cuts into the property.
And is it going up that road that's right next to the town? Because I looked up at that other road and there's no underground there. So where is your power? Is your power coming from after Passam?
It goes right across my tennis court.
Huh?
It goes right across my tennis court.
Oh, okay, so it's feeding from your property.
Correct.
And what size amperage do you have up there?
There are dual 800s.
You have 800?
Two of them.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to speak up.
I have two 800s.
Two 800, and you're feeding off a single-phase line?
Yes. There's no three-phase.
Now, is there a firewall between them?
Between what?
Because you can't have two services unless there's a firewall,
I don't understand what you're implying.
a firewall
Between what?
in that building. Is there a firewall splitting those two services?
I'm not a master electrician, but it's,
Isolation transformer.
yeah, there's everything to be compliant electrically.
Well, then what's the problem with it failing its,
It didn't fail, and we did actually have the state inspector write in. Did you guys?
excuse me, you're speaking to me.
Can I address?
So you're, hang on.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back right here. So you are directing your questions to the board. He is responding to the board. He's not responding directly to you.
Well, but I'm the one that asked the question.
Correct. And
So that doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense that he can't answer the question as to having two services on one building without a firewall between those two.
There's absolutely a firewall.
So why did you say you didn't know?
That is not what I do. I'm not an electrician.
Okay, so why has there been a problem? Why has there been a problem with your electrical not passing?
So what happened with the electrical, and this is very common, with when a building is being constructed. So when the building was being constructed, the fire inspectors came out 3 times to do an inspection, as they do during instruction.
I know exactly what they do.
Okay, I'm explaining. During construction, the first 2 times it passed. The third time, they had, and I had on the state senior electrical inspector explaining exactly what happened. And what happened was that they found a discrepancy in the internal cover for the service disconnecting means, and that was resolved through documentation after the visit. And this inspector was satisfied that it passed all of the fire codes and issued the permit, closed out the permit, which means that it was approved. So this happens very often. Small things will happen where they will find something that needs to be fixed during construction. It was fixed, the permit was closed out, and it's done.
Okay. So now, are you cultivating in there? So how are you doing that without a permit?
The building was built in 2022, preceding the cannabis regulations. So it was built as an accessory structure.
But you called it a farm.
We have both. I called it a farm building, yes, but the CEO, Jesse Winters, is who wrote it up as an accessory structure, which it is. It's a barn.
Okay.
Can I address that as well?
Yes.
The whole farm.
Well, let me ask one more question, then you can answer.
No, I would like to address so that we're keeping things straight. So when the building permit was filed, the CEO, the code enforcement officer, put something on there for what the building is going to be. It's ad hoc. It doesn't relate to anything that's in an ordinance. It just is ad hoc. At the time, there was no like cannabis ordinance, so he wrote farm building in because it was on a farm. It was, it was a farm building. That was not a use. That does not designate a use. It is simply something that the code enforcement officer just has to put on the building permit. So it doesn't correspond to anything in the ordinance. It doesn't need to. Use authorization is a whole separate function. That's what we're doing here. That's totally separate from the building permit. What goes on that building permit does not say forever and ever, this has to be a farm building, or it isn't farm building at all. It's just something that the code enforcement officer writes down more or less for his own sort of, here's what I'm looking at.
Okay, I
Can I just ask?
yeah, and of course, the building is, 2,000 square feet larger than is allowed.
Okay,
And I know something about this because I know the CEO before had an argument up there about the size. Now, I don't know what transpired afterwards, but of course, he was fired. I don't know if it had to do with that or not. But why is the building bigger than it was supposed to be?
because it was put down originally on the building permit, a certain size. As they worked through the plans, worked through the construction, the size changed. The code enforcement officer was aware the whole time that the size changed. If you look at
Who is the code enforcement?
Letters, if you look at the town's tax assessment card, if you look at the property card, the property tax card, it shows 6,000 square feet. That was a part of just the continuing kind of thing that happens during construction.
All right. Well, I'll tell you,
Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
and I haven't finished. Because as far as I'm concerned, something's going on here that's not right. Because none of us, a lot of these people in here, never heard anything about this, and all of a sudden there's a building. And now she's saying that she was able to grow pot there without a conditional permit. Now, I know the state takes a lot of this into its realm because it's a state law. But as far as buildings being built in Parsonsfield, as far as I'm concerned, the state they can't force a town to take in a building unless they're involved. And now they're asking for a conditional permit, and they put I guess you put the cart before the horse. And this makes no sense. And now they got a problem with the land across the street because water is seeping down through there from that road. And I do believe there's an ordinance about how much of a pitch a road can have that's emptying out in a road. And I'm sure the state does too. I'm just disgusted with the whole thing. This is a bag job. That's what it is. It's a bag job. And I'm disgusted.
Oh, thank you. My name is James Smith. I'm responsible for a lot of the problems you folks are having tonight. I was the first elected planning board member, chairman of the planning board, but passed. None of you people were around except Mr. Macomb, but maybe at that point. And I honestly believe I'm probably the last living member of the original board. We developed a comprehensive plan with the help of Market Decisions out of South Portland. It was a long, involved process, and I remember the evening we were walking up the sidewalk, and we were going to have to face Earl Taylor. Some of you folks may or may not know him. We referred to him and his cohort as Waldorf and Astoria from the Muppets, because they had a lot to say about a lot of things, and they were intelligent. I was told by Barbara Conover, who was an attorney and was on the board with me, that she was relieved that I was the chairman and she didn't have to face all of these people. So I matched myself in. I wasn't so confident at that point in time. Sat myself down and got to listen to everybody speak. Our concern at that point in time was that people from out of state would be dumping trash in Parsons Field. That's why we passed the zoning ordinance. I find myself 45 years later actually discussing something I never thought would happen, whether or not we're going to have a cannabis store or a cannabis facility, growing facility within the town. I'd like to address a couple of things. I speak from some experience, if you will. I'm a certified Maine code enforcement officer. Parsons Field, Scarborough, and South Portland. I'm an LPI. I was the head building official, the top banana in Pennsylvania County, Virginia. That's an entire county. I've dealt with and sat down in front of a lot of people for a lot of different things. I never thought I would see the day that we would be having this discussion. I'm really pleased that there are a lot of people sitting here tonight. Several people have spoken previously about some things I was going to bring up, and I won't be reiterating, if you will. But there's a septic system design that was turned in for this building. Now, what barn in this world, under normal circumstances, has a septic system? Okay? Secondly, I'll stay with the septic system for a minute. The septic system site evaluator drew the plan up, and a lot of people won't know what I'm saying now, but an elevation reference point is a nail usually placed in a tree that a surveyor or the installer can point at that and keep the pipes in that septic system at a certain level. And the other reference point was the corner of a building to be designed, not to be, a proposed building, if you will. How the hell do you take a dimension off a proposed building in the course of laying out your septic system? I was floored by that one. There's no internal plumbing permit on file. Why would you have? I'm not saying there isn't one. I'm just saying it's not on file. The electrical inspection that this lady described as having been done, there's no record of that down here. How the hell do we know that? Or if we found that, we wouldn't have had this conversation tonight, and that gentleman would have had 5 minutes less of discussion time. The record keeping is, I won't go there.
Yeah. You can go there.
Stormwater management. We have a 6,000 square foot building that sheds water. We have a driveway or a roadway to access to this. It's long. Roadways are not supposed to accept water. We don't want water in them. We want to drive over them. All of that water should be required under your review to have some kind of a detention pond or a retention pond. We don't have the right, any of us, to change the water flow of ours onto somebody else without written permission. The state of Maine got permission from Elmer Runyon, Bud Runyon, to discharge onto the lot that he's bought there. He's stuck with that. If I bought that lot, I would be stuck with that. I don't have the right to dig a trench down the side of my property to get rid of that water over onto somebody else. That water originated at this barn. Not all of it, but everything that comes down the ditches, down through there. And as another frame of reference, I personally have knowledge of a subdivision that was done in Scarborough that they were required to put a detention pond in to hold the water that was on site. That man paid over $1 million for that piece of property. He lost 3 house lots because he had to dig the hole for the detention or retention of that water. That was something that was, I don't want to say it was, the rules allowed for folks in your position to demand that, to make sure that other people's property weren't affected by the discharge. If you ever feel like I might be assistance in some way, my last job was town manager in Sebago, and I did that for 11 years. And I'm probably the first one that they hired that they didn't fire. They were glad when I left, but
Not hired.
they didn't fire me. Thank you for your time. Thanks for listening, folks.
Thank you.
No,
Jack Hennessy, Parsons Field. I'm
write something down for you if you want.
Since this building, first of all, was built at a different size than what it was originally permitted for, now, my understanding, it's change of use also because they want to make it a cultivation building. Right? What have you guys done? You know, I mean, they're progressing with electric, they're progressing with getting things going. Have you guys thought about placing a cease and desist order until this whole thing is resolved? Or are you just gonna sit here?
Emmy?
This building was built in 2022. It's not a new building.
I didn't say it was.
Let her speak.
I said the change of use. All right? And it's progressing as far as electrical and everything
Can I
else.
please address this?
Go ahead.
They're finished.
So, and it was built to be a cultivation cannabis facility.
Thought you said it was a farm.
No.
Can we please not interrupt her? Everybody gets a chance to speak.
Where's the town lawyer?
I'm answering the question.
But where's the town's lawyer?
I am answering the question. So when the code enforcement officer filled out on the building permit, he wrote farm building because it was just a building. He wasn't concerned. The building permit is not concerned with the use. So he wrote farm building. This was all along planned to be a cultivation facility. It's been used as a
whose
cannabis
mind?
cultivation facility since it was built. It was not required to have a use approved because it was considered a home occupation. Under 6,000,
Please,
under the Parsons Field ordinance, a business can be a home occupation as long as it doesn't have more than one employee and it's on the owner's property.
Oh,
Which this was. So, and the select board has been very clear on that. So it has been operating legally as a home occupation for this entire time. Now he wants to get a conditional use permit in order to grow adult use cannabis there as well. He can only do what he's been doing as a medical cannabis caregiver, which is allowed by the state. It's allowed by the Parsons Field ordinance.
Can I just ask one?
If one of the planning board members could open their zoning ordinance.
could you state your name first, please?
My name is Tina Smith.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you could open your ordinance and read to the crowd what a home occupation is, maybe that would resolve some issues within the definitions.
It's easier to search the document.
But you can grow in your house.
No.
They don't.
Yeah, you know. Is it a?
That's 101.
We're talking about that guy right there. Spoke against him. They're talking about the guy. Did you?
They want to pay somebody to fill out the building permit.
Yeah, he wasn't doing a home occupation.
No,
I can, yes, but I can, yes, I will read it. It is lengthy.
Yes.
But I just want to verify before I do read it that it was not a home occupation because it is not his home. It is a building.
It's an accessory.
It's an accessory dwelling.
Which is allowed for home occupation.
And we're all human and we're all allowed to make mistakes. We're all allowed to be heard.
Making a lot of mistakes.
Well, you know, we're only human. All right, you wanted me to read home occupations. All right, page 101, home,
Listen to this.
page 101, home occupations. Number 1, permitted home occupations must be carried out without disturbing neighbors, altering the residential character of the structure or neighborhood, or changing the character of the lot from its principal use as a residence. A home occupation must be permitted if it complies with all the requirements of the section. Number 2, a home occupation must be carried on by permanent residents of the dwelling unit, must not exceed 500 square feet or 25% of the total floor area of the dwelling unit, whichever is greater, and must not employ more than 2 full-time equivalent non-resident employees. Number 3, the home occupation must be carried on wholly within the principal or accessory structures. There must be no outside storage or display of materials or products or equipment or vehicles. Number 4, a home occupation must not create greater traffic than normal for the area in which it is located or generate more than
Speak up.
20 vehicular trips per day. Number 5, the sale of products not wholly crafted, assembled, or substantially altered on the premises may be permitted by the planning board. Again, this is not a home occupation. It is not a dwelling.
What did you call it?
Okay, can I address that because I misspoke?
I want her to address it. I want her to tell us what they gave you as a permit. If it's not a home occupation, what was it?
Oh,
We never gave him a permit.
that's why we're here right now, aren't we?
That's why we're all here.
We've
been swinging.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but originally it was a medical caregiver facility, which this town does not have a permit for until very recently. And that was all permitted by the state. The building would have been permitted by the town, but the actual medical cannabis caregiver facility would have been permitted by the state.
Again,
That's
also
correct,
something-
and I misspoke about home occupation. I thought that he had been doing that, but you're right. It was not, look, people make mistakes, okay?
A lot of
That was
mistakes.
not, it was not. What he's doing is not covered in the cannabis. A caregiver cultivation facility is not considered a cannabis establishment
Correct.
under the ordinance.
He
And
could-
that's why he's been able to do it. I misspoke about home occupation.
He could continue with the medical cannabis caregiver facility regardless of what is decided tonight.
Right.
Just to that.
Okay. Yeah, you first, then back to you.
But preceding, and I think even with the Parsons Field cannabis ordinance, it is even legal to conduct caregiver activities in your home. So you could have your basement, my horse barn, anything. It's a state program and you're able to do that on your home property.
6,000.
Right, as big as you want.
Something that Jim Smith, again, something I neglected to say initially. A certificate of occupancy is required. That's stated at the bottom of the building permit, regardless of what the size was or if it increased or anything else. I cannot find a certificate of occupancy issued. that isn't just for a building that you sleep in, that's for the use of that building. Okay? Now, when you suggest that the ban was a misnomer to start with, all of a sudden it goes into a growth, I don't want to be sarcastic. I don't care if he grows marijuana. I have no concern about that. My concern is the next thing that happens, because they give them an inch and they get a mile, and I'm here for the inch right now. Okay? Every time a use changes in a facility, it's required to get a certificate of occupancy. If you go from a restaurant to a motel, you've got to meet altogether different standards for that. That's state law, period. These things have been missed, omitted, overlooked, I don't know what the hell you want to call it, but just plain not done right, period. And this man's going to suffer some because of it, along with the rest of us, because we got other things to do than be sitting listening. Thank you.
I would recommend that we decline the permit for a very simple reason. There's so much ambiguity and so many questions that legally we have to default to the only thing we know for sure, and that is historical use. Now, we talked about three-phase power earlier. Where's the three-phase power? In Keyser Falls. We talked about all of these other things. In East Parsons Field, we had 2 small stores back in the 90s. In North Parsons Field,
Good one.
this is a resident. And if you're going to go by something that we know for sure, go to the historical use and keep it that way and decline the application.
Just a suggestion, but I think this board should at this point call a recess or put hold on this meeting until a town attorney can come here, present us as well. We need a town attorney.
I just wanted to state something. I was watching this on Facebook.
Can you state your name?
Jennifer Gaff. I live over on Hussey.
Thank you.
I neither for or against for pot, marijuana. But I just wanted to say that I appreciate the gentleman in the red. I couldn't see you on video, but I recognize your voice. I appreciate all the suggestions that you're giving, a lot of education, and I think the town could go with that. I also agree that if we can just put a plug in it so we have more information before we make all these decisions would be great, and maybe have a bigger meeting room, because I think the town needs to figure out more things on how to protect ourselves for the future. And then also, the gentleman that was over here talking, when he was supposed to be directing questions to the board, it totally felt like he was attacking the gentleman over there, when his question should have been sent to the board and asked in a very polite way. I drove all the way down here just to say that, because no one should have to be talked to like that when they're trying to create a company that can make money for the town. And he's being a wonderful person creating his own business, but no one deserves to be talked in that way,
Thank you.
in a way.
I appreciate your criticism. Having said that,
Can you let her finish, please?
I was
Sir?
asking him the question.
This was happening throughout the whole video that I was watching on Facebook, and that's why I made a point to come down here. I don't always come to these meetings. I do try to watch them to be involved in my community and my town. I like to see things be progressive and help people in the town. But when there's someone like this man that is talking over people, acting like I don't know this side of the table, but he is talking to people and down to people rather than asking questions and giving very generous information.
I don't even know how I'm gonna finish it, but this is how it was coming across on the video, and I just want to make a point that, I don't even know. I'm done. That was my point. Thank you very much.
Hi, Tom Winter, resident North Parsonsfield. Matter of fact, I'm in a butter to both of the things that's going on here. Is it possible, one of the suggestions that was made to kind of reset, but would it be possible for the board to put together a timeline of the entire hit, and with Chris's help, of the property, showing that, okay, it was, first permitted in 2022, and then at that time, what it was for, and, something like that. So that way, when everyone gets together again, okay, here's the whole story. This is it, based on things that we can prove, that yes, we do have this on file, that's on file, so on and so forth. And that way, it may just make your job a heck of a lot easier, and also make, help people ask questions, so you don't just end up repeating yourselves over and over again and going over things that you've gone over a year or so or before. I was an alternate on the planning board, so I've, seen how that could work, and I'm also the chairman of the zoning board of appeals, so anything like that would help.
Tom, you were also on the board to the
Comprehensive
future of the
plan?
town.
Yeah, yes, I was part of the team that put together the comprehensive plan. Yeah.
Yeah, about the town plan in regards to what's going on here.
Yeah, well,
Give some input.
sure. The plan actually targets
Yeah, the plan.
the comp plan, okay? And the comp plan is not an ordinance, okay? The comprehensive plan is something Jim referred to, I believe. It's renewed every 10 years, and it's the direction of where we want the town to grow. That's where it's defined, right there, black and white. And it's defined in there, right, very clearly that this area, North Parsonsfield, we want to target some development here. And we also wanted to target more development out towards Province Lake. And that's in the plan. Now, there were hearings on it. People made inputs. We sent questionnaires out. I collected all that information. So we got a lot of information from people. And we came up with a comprehensive plan based on that. It was approved by the town, voted on and approved by the town. So anyway, I'm digressing a little bit on that, but would it be possible perhaps to put together a timeline of, the history of the property since, we'll call it the inception in 2022, and, just bulletize things that went on. Yes?
Can I piggyback off of what he's saying, please?
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Aaron Smith, Parsonsfield resident of almost 40 years. I'd like to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy lives to hear our concerns, possibly express your own. I believe the amount of people here shows just what a great community we have and are fortunate to call home. I'd like to start with some inconsistency with the Parsonsfield comprehensive plan. In Maine, state law requires municipal land use decisions to be consistent with the comprehensive plan. Following along, the code is listed there, if you'd like to look it up. The town's comprehensive plan states on page 16 that the primary residential development goal is to retain its rural cluster village character consistent with historical development within the village residential district. Commercial uses are intended to remain limited in scale and similar to surrounding areas. The area within approximately 1/2 mile of the town office contains the highest concentration of historically designated properties in the town and serves as a civic and community focal area. The town office and Parsem serve as central gathering spaces for families and residents and reflect the traditional civic function of this area. Areas anchored by municipal and community facilities are intended to remain accessible, community-oriented spaces within the town's historic development pattern. An industrial-scale cannabis cultivation facility in close proximity to these uses represents a level and type of commercial activity that is not similar in scale or intensity to surrounding development and is not consistent with the civic and historic character of the area. Because this is a substantially larger and more intensive commercial use within the town's historic rural cluster village, it is not consistent with the comprehensive plan and is incompatible with the established development pattern of the village residential district. In conclusion, I believe that the application fails to demonstrate compliance with the structure eligibility requirements, building and fire safety standards, site plan review requirements, conditional use standards, municipal service capacity standards, and comprehensive plan consistency requirements. The planning board therefore cannot make the positive findings required for approval under the Parsonsfield Land Use and Development Ordinance. The application should be denied. Furthermore, the non-compliant structure and failed electrical inspection that apparently they have documentation that says that it wasn't failed, but present immediate concerns for the health and safety of surrounding properties. The town has an obligation under its land use and development ordinance to ensure that unsafe structures are not used or occupied. Continued use of the structure should therefore be halted pending verification of compliance with applicable building and life safety requirements, and the Office of Cannabis Policy should be notified while these structural and electrical issues remain under review. Thank you for your time.
Sorry, I just want to point out, make sure everyone understands, the comprehensive plan is not the ordinance. So what has to happen is you take the comprehensive plan and then you realign the ordinances to the comprehensive plan, just in case someone's, I think the gentleman brought up, it's not aligned with our comprehensive plan. That's moot, because that's a guide, but it's the ordinances that are legal and we have to follow.
I have a quote from the state document. It's section 4352 in the zoning. It says, relation to comprehensive plan, a zoning ordinance must be pursuant to and consistent with a comprehensive plan adopted by the municipal.
Exactly. That's what I just said.
Pursuant means it's the, pursuant as a word does not mean that it chases the ordinance.
No, it's the other way around.
Right.
Yeah, the ordinance, comp plan comes first, then the ordinances. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
what he said.
That's what I said. So,
I think what I heard.
That's not how you said it.
oh, sorry, well, okay, my mistake. The
way I heard it.
ordinances,
Needs to follow the comprehensive plan.
Comprehensive plan supersedes.
Correct.
no, it doesn't supersede it. That's the thing. You can't sue based on the corporate.
Town lawyer will be able to clarify for us later.
Name for us, please.
I'm Janet Berger and I live right next.
You sent us the letter, right?
No,
Oh, okay, different Janet then. Sorry.
it's okay. I live next to the proposed building site and I'm a little worried. I think there's more questions than answers here. And that's it.
I didn't plan on opening my mouth so much, but one more time. Anytime a zoning ordinance has failed, it's because it isn't in compliance with the comprehensive plan. And that's what a zoning lawyer, I'm not sure what the hell title would be applied to that, but somebody that specializes as an attorney in that, if they think they can beat an application, they're going to attack it through its non-compliance with a comprehensive plan. I find it difficult to see that even though the state has legalized marijuana, the raising of it and the sale of it, that we have ever included within our comprehensive plan something that addresses that. I may be wrong. I don't know anything about the marijuana scenario. I'm illiterate in that regard. I hardly know how to spell a word.
Does the town have a lawyer?
We do?
Oh, yeah.
Justin Espinosa, 335 Mudgett Road. Hey, I just wanted to touch on the comprehensive plan portion. I was chair of the planning board when we first chartered a revisit of the comprehensive plan back in 2018. I think it was Cliff Krolik that.
Cliff started it.
Oh, there we go. You chartered that board, I believe. You were one of the first members. And so marijuana at the time, the medical program and recreational program was just kind of getting its feet on the ground. And at the completion of it, the comprehensive plan was what, like 2 years ago? A year ago?
I wasn't through the whole.
Yeah, I don't think you stayed through it, but I will say that I don't think that it was really incorporated in it because, you know, the laws are changing as it goes. So there's that. But I am very heartened to see every business and books because this happens when People disagree with stuff and everybody wants to become an expert on ordinances and laws. But at the end of the day, the thing is that ordinances are what are law. The comprehensive plan should guide what the ordinances become. The planning board will and should review the comprehensive plan as it's updated and make sure that they're in line with the comprehensive plan. But that's a loose thing. It really is. I mean, just to be honest with you, it's up to interpretation. So if you're going to fight a battle of something not being in line with the comprehensive plan, it's going to be a hard battle. It really is.
For everybody.
For everybody.
Both sides.
Yeah, for both sides, honestly. The definitive thing is if something is in line with the law, which is the ordinance. And from everything viewed, the application is in line with the ordinance. Now, the speculation I've seen is that things aren't in line with fire code or this and that, but that's speculation. So the planning board has a discretion to put in conditions when they pass or deny an application. If they feel something isn't meeting an ordinance, to either firm up and make sure that something will meet those conditions, or if they want to make something extra stringent, they can put extra conditions on it. However, that's how this process works. Like we as a community pass our ordinances, and people who want to do business look at these charts and say, if I can do business here, if it's permissible, I should be allowed to do that. And that's the system that we've created.
We didn't create a system to not follow a permit and do a building that had nothing to do with the permit that was taken out. That's not part of our system.
I'm not debating right now.
Well,
My
I
time
am
to speak.
debating that.
Cliff, could you,
That's the start of the process.
could you please not interrupt and let him finish?
He did finish, I thought.
No.
I didn't finish.
Please let him.
So the process of a planning board application, right, is to present their application, and if it's in accordance with the planning board ordinances, the planning board will determine that. This process here for the public hearing is for everybody to speak their opinions, get questions answered by the applicant to further explain their application and clear up any confusion. And the planning board gets to listen and take in consideration from us as public members. And if there are concerns, this is their time to listen to us and maybe amp up some of those extra things that they could put on as conditions. Or if there's something out there that's directly not in alliance with the law, then this is the time that they could be put off that. But and following this, the planning board gets to make their choices. So that's my 2 cents. I think that this gentleman has been through the process enough times, been denied by the select board, and stymied by the town through his business.
That's a lot, dude.
Excuse me?
Can we please?
I'm not debating.
I'm talking.
And
Everybody else has had a chance to speak.
and he's got his ducks in a row to make this happen. I mean, I don't see any error in his application. That's my 2 cents.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, your hand
Clarify?
was up next, yes.
If the ordinance is out of whack with the plan for the town,
The comprehensive plan?
comprehensive plan, who can change the ordinance? You can just change it?
There are 3 ways.
Okay, thank you.
Let me get to the right page. All right. To propose an amendment to the ordinance. Any proposal to amend this ordinance must be made to the planning board in writing, stating specific changes requested. Amendments initiated by petition, hang on, let me back up. The 3 ways to propose them. To the planning board by favorable majority vote of the entire regular membership of the board. So the planning board can go through the ordinances, make changes, vote on them, move them forward. The selectmen, through a request to the planning board. So the select board can propose amendments and push them to the planning board to review. And the third is an individual or a group through a request to the planning board and subsequent favorable majority vote of the board, or B, by a written petition, which JP has a lot of experience with, a written petition with the signatures of registered Parsonsfield voters equal to at least 10% of the votes cast in Parsonsfield in the last state gubernatorial election. So it's not just the planning board that can look at the ordinances and propose amendments. From there, the amendments go to the planning board to review, give their thoughts and opinions on. It then goes to the select board. The select board pushes it to town meeting where the whole town votes on the amendments.
Okay.
Yes. Welcome. Is there somebody over there had their hand up? Yes, sir.
I'm Jay Berger, a resident of Parsonsfield. Where'd he go?
Oh.
Someone said earlier that the building didn't pass electrical inspection. And then the legal arm stood up and said that it did. And then someone else said that there's no record of it. So who do we believe? You say he's in compliance, that he's doing things right. Who do we believe?
Well, that's a question.
Who's correct?
If you're asking me,
Yeah, I am.
so I mean, that's a question, and this is the right avenue for it, right? That I would ask for.
Well, I'm asking the planning board then that I'd like to see you get some proof of if inspection or not.
So,
If there's no record that it has passed, she says it has passed.
so would you be if she can hand me the correct electrical inspection saying it's passed, would that?
It's small.
That's the small one. Would you like me to read what the email says?
Sure.
All right, this is dated April 21st, 2026, so yesterday. The last inspection shown here was January 24th, 2023. My notes indicate it was an in-process inspection because there might have been some loose ends that were being completed at the time of my visit. The reason I failed the inspection at that time is because there was some discrepancy with the internal cover for the service disconnecting means. I may have had you send me information after the fact that showed that as an option with that particular enclosure. I did not consider this a final inspection, nor do I have the ability to complete a final inspection on every project in my territory. I am quite satisfied that the building was left in a safe and code-compliant installation despite me not having done a final inspection based on my prior history with you and other jobs I have looked at. If the town has any questions or concerns, they should reach out directly to me and I can explain it further. Hope this helps. Thank you.
Who's that dude's name?
Sorry?
Who's that dude's name?
Brian LaFlame, Senior Electrical Inspector, State of Maine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure covers all parts of
Is
it.
there a structural, like a framing inspection and stuff as well, or was that not completed?
Are you saying like when the building was initially built?
Not constructed.
There's no documentation for it.
Oh, I'm sure if you looked in any code file, there's probably not anything in there. I'm not saying that that's good or bad, I'm just,
Just normal
procedure. I was,
We need a timeline.
Jesse Winters, unfortunately, for a while.
Yeah, that would help a lot.
He told me, because I was trying to get some documentation from him, that his computer crashed and that many, many files and things were missing because of that. So I don't know if this has anything to do with that, but it is possible that he lost some of the documentation that you're looking for.
hang on, I thought I saw another hand real quick. Was there a hand over there, Walter? Or next, Adam?
Here she just read.
Yep.
Suggested that there was no final inspection done.
Correct.
So I urge the board to, at the very least, as a condition to this permit, require a final inspection.
Has to be for occupancy permit anyway.
Hang on. Adam, back to you.
Okay, I just want to speak, I think, to the idea that what we presented was the speculation, and what we presented was facts that we verified to the extent that we could verify them, obviously. The only way to eliminate any option of, or any way to say that there is speculation is to do the inspections that should have been done originally that we have no documentation for, but that we accept that there is documentation, or that they were done because the documentation was at best, it's terrible. To open up a folder for a building that's 6,000 square feet and find out that there's a permit for it that says 4,500, when it says right in the permit, the permittee is supposed to notify the building inspector upon any changes. Well, where did that happen? That didn't happen. Or if it did, again, the documentation is terrible. We shouldn't be held to what someone else did. He needs to be held to the correct standard, and we all need to know that this was done correctly. And if it wasn't done correctly originally, there's still an opportunity to do it correctly now, and I don't see any other options. Thank you.
Well, it really appears that this is a commercial endeavor. So any inspection has to be based upon commercial regulations. That's all I have to say.
Given the sentiment that we heard today, and thank you for asking about the ordinance, I think this group is asking you to rewrite the ordinance and submit it to the selectmen for an article in town meeting.
Okay, I tried to make several points. Evidently, not everybody was happy about them. Having said that, these people are having water problems, and I believe the gentleman in back pretty much went over that. Whereas there should have been some kind of pool collecting this water rather than letting it spill out onto other people's property and a state highway. The other thing is about the expansion of the building during construction. Evidently, this whole thing, and I look at the board here and I see different people than were on this back in, and a lot of them were as inexperienced as you. And I believe that through these changes in the planning board and the inexperience involved, because I was on the planning board for almost 17 years, and it isn't an easy job. And there's always people coming in here trying to manipulate you. And just like one of the gentlemen said, they look at your ordinances and they try to pick it apart. Shall, or we, or in doing so. So I understand, I'm not mad at you people, because I don't think you originally had anything to do with it. But that planning board and the apathy in this town has produced this problem. And now it's starting to affect other people. And it's going to affect more people in this town as we go on, because we are growing. And more of these problems are going to come up. And more of these meetings are going to produce the type of irate attitudes that we have. And the other thing is I don't understand why we weren't in that other side of the thing where people could fit. You must have known that people were going to come for and against this. So I would suggest that you refuse this permit until such time as there can be a complete review, and that means lawyers. And I might add that I bet you should get some people in this audience that would go along with getting a lawyer and perhaps going to Alfred, or now it's Benefit. Because I think that, I'm not saying that there's any malfeasance here. I think there's inexperience. And I agree with the comprehensive plan. it's closer than it used to be, but it isn't. And I'll cite one problem in Wells, where Wells lost a fortune because their comprehensive plan did not match their ordinances. And somebody won in court, I think it was over $500,000, $1 million, and we can't afford that. So I think the presses should stop right here until such time that we can muddle through this mess that we got now. And I mean, I feel for him. I have nothing against these cultivation. This is not an argument about cultivation. This is an argument about how a building was built, and then there were malfeasance went along the way, either through ignorance or I don't know what it was.
Can I just ask a question?
Certainly.
I stand up. I'm Barbara Pankey and I live on Middle Road. What exactly will be done on this farm? I'm not clear what's happening on this farm. Are they just growing? Are they selling? Are they, is there people protecting them? I mean, what's going on?
Sure. Do you guys want to answer?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is for a cultivation, a grow, it's a garden.
Just cultivation.
This facility, yes.
So what happens after you cultivate it?
It gets sold wholesale to stores around the state.
How do you peddle it?
I don't peddle anything.
But I mean, it's got to get from the farm.
How do I handle it?
Yeah, how do you get it from the farm to the, I mean?
It goes to a distributor. This is a normal business, so the same supply chain that exists across
So-
any industry.
So the farm is just growing?
Yes.
Chris Demos, owner 657 North Road. So I think some of the quietest people in the room have been on at the table, and I guess I want to hear from you guys, what kind of action items are forming in your head as we look forward into the future. What questions are you going to be asking? How are you going to pursue those answers, and how will we be communicated with? That may not be important. But I want to really know substantially what your plan of action is.
Yeah.
So appreciate the question. Typically, this is the time for us to hear from you guys. That's what we're here for. And then what we do is we close the public hearing, then we deliberate about the application. We do have another public hearing to get to tonight, so we are kind of looking to wrap it up. Yeah, it's a lot to take in, especially we're working on an hour and 15 minutes here. A lot of information, definitely a couple ideas of conditions to move forward with. Yeah, again, just reviewing the ordinances. I do understand the dilemma with the comp plan and the ordinances. We do have a meeting with Southern Maine Planning at the workshop, correct?
Yes.
Yes, so Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission is coming to our workshop meeting, and we're going to ask them about getting our ordinances updated, and hopefully they're going to tell us it's not going to be an arm and a leg, and we can get those updated and in line better with the comp plan.
Very good. And I just one last thing. Is there, do we have the facilities or the inspection manpower to information? Adam has gotten this document, done a really good job. I want to commend him for putting all this, Jim and Adam and you guys, fantastic to have this document with us. But I'd like to find out, how are we going to get this effected? I mean, will there be a schedule of inspections that come forth from this?
So I guess it would depend on the conditions we place on the application. If a condition of approval. We have one CEO in town, or we have two, but one of them has resigned as of 5/1. So we have one CEO that would be building permits and, building inspections and stuff like that. Everything else, as far as I know, is state. well, electrical estate. Yeah. Well and septic estate. So yes, it's definitely something we could put in as a condition, that a copy of a electrical inspection be provided to the planning board. Definitely there in the back of my mind. Hang on.
Yep, sorry, one quick question. Having some experience with the smell of a growing facility, for instance, the old Walker Chevy facility, is there going to be proper odor mitigation? So that way we won't smell a thing, because, we're neighbors, and I don't want to smell it, you know what I mean?
Have you smelled it yet?
No, not yet, and I congratulate you for that.
I smell it every morning.
Well, okay, but is there any, he smells it, but is there any mitigation now?
Yes, it's a sealed facility, so no air is exhausted outside.
Okay.
It is also killed within the facility.
Great, thank you.
And it is also set back 1,000.
So well, yeah, but the wind blows, that's why, even around the Walker Chevy, Mr. Sanborn's operation, people, 1,000 feet away were it's not good, thank you.
So I have two more hands. Again, like I said, we're going on an hour and 15 minutes here, and I want to make sure everybody feels that they got heard and everybody, gets their say. But if we could potentially get our last round of questions in right now, Jim?
Regardless of the building, is or what, its occupancy the first time around requires a certificate of occupancy. That has not happened. It needs to be inspected. You folks have the authority, if you will, because of the application in front of you, for a site walk. I pray you don't just say you don't need to do it. Period. I don't want to make this forever. That's it.
Stan Clark, 653 North Road. I've listened to everybody. Again, I want to commend the Smiths for the legwork they've done here. I think as a minimum, we need to before any permit, before anything goes further, we need a minimum of all the certificates, any inspections or anything we do for commercial operation is done before you even say yes or no. I think we need to have proof of that. As taxpayers.
So are you going to vote on this tonight?
It depends on how long the next public hearing goes. We can't take up any, if we can get to this and the board can come to a decision, yes. If not, we'll be at it next month.
It'll be what?
If we can't make a decision tonight, we'll take it up again next month.
So you feel like you have enough information to make a decision tonight?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I'm only one board member.
You feel like you have enough information to
I do have a question for
decision tonight?
ask a question to the public. Sure. I have a question for the public. I've heard a lot of valid arguments about different things involving permitting and proof and stuff. Does anybody have a specific case of nuisance or disturbance that they've had from this facility on 574 North Road?
Building's in violation of the ordinance cover.
I heard that.
So it isn't.
But a specific situation that you yourself, by noise.
That's a new.
No, I understand that. I understand that.
Some of it's the water.
Water is certainly a nuisance.
Water?
It comes down, it comes to stage. There's a lot more water now than there ever was because it corrupts. And it goes to Jim's pond, doesn't it, Jim?
Yes, it does. My beaver love it.
You first.
Draining the bog, and that's why the water is there.
Sorry, who's draining the bog? Who's draining the bog?
The development, the building is draining the bog. Can I add to that?
Her first, and then we'll come to you.
Marty Rollerson, and I'm directly across the street and a direct abutter to the property. And my concern, and I've shared it all along, and I, in the first letter on January 28th that I sent to the board, addressed that specifically. the flooding, the excessive, it's just more. There's more volume. It flooded my property, you know, so you get any additional weather-related incidents, and it just feeds into that. So that's been my concern all along, and I don't know how to remedy that. But I'm clearly concerned because it runs down the road, across my yard, all the way across. And that stream goes right along the edge and right through, and it circumvented that, and then it did it again even after DOT came and did their work with ditches and culverts and like
They just
overflow
moved it
area
down to
overflow.
Logan's.
Yeah. What's that?
They just moved it down to Logan's what they could.
I just wanted to add to that. In 2023 July, when the water was over the road, all the way down past Marty's to Stan's, July that year, Mount Washington got 22 inches of rain. We got about 13 inches of rain. 20 years ago, when the Ossipee Valley Fair was going on in October, we got 13 inches of rain in 24 hours.
Yeah.
There wasn't any water on that road. That development is putting water on the road.
I just want to clarify.
Say your name first.
Oh, sorry, Bill O'Brien, I live on Penn Dexter. The water problems, are those in reference, are people referencing the building that's on this side, or are we talking about the lot that's cleared over here?
The building over on this side.
Yeah, I mean, it's on a hill, so I just don't understand how that.
It would need a site plan, it would have needed a site plan review to decide where the water goes. Somebody, an engineer or what? An engineer would have decided where the water went, not a ditch.
But a building on top of that's elevated higher than a bog would not contribute.
The building's not permeable.
The steel building, yeah, the steel building's not permeable, you're right. Just to clarify, you're saying that a building on top of the hill is creating more water?
No, it's the ditches, running the ditches down the road.
Down the driveway, or the right of way.
There's a road where there never used to be a road.
Water can go wherever at one point. When it's ditched, it's focused.
And your guys' solution is to not approve this.
Well, the solution is to not approve it because he doesn't have a legitimate building permit. That's pretty much grounds one. And then.
All right. Let's stop going back and forth, please.
Can I just ask a question to the board? What is the degrees of grade on that road? Or even the road right next here? Because there is a rule, as a matter of fact, we put it in years ago, about no more than 6 degrees on a driveway coming into a town or state road.
That would be 6
And that's gotta be more than 6 degrees. And just putting a ditch on the side of it isn't helping the situation. And this gentleman said right here about a pool. And I see pools all the time in developments and shopping centers because they have such massive tar that water can't be absorbed that they have to direct that water to it. And that ordinance alone would have been something that you would have looked at and said, no, that driveway, that doesn't fit. Now, there used to be trees there, so if there was like 13 inches of water coming in 24 hours, the trees and the leaves and all that, there was flora there, that would slow the water down. But now what you got is you've got a runway for the water. And I'm assuming they cleared that lot out up there just because it's a building. The building isn't so much the problem as it is the lot that's been cleared in the road. And you people should have looked at, well, I say you people, because this whole board's different. from the ones in 22 and 23, they should have looked at water retention and the 6 degrees on a driveway. Even this one doesn't meet that. I know that's more than 6 degrees. When we were on the board, that was illegal, would have never been allowed. Now, I don't know, maybe somebody took that 6 degrees out of the ordinances. Roadways are the same way. That's a roadway.
It's a driveway, I would argue.
Well, it's a roadway because it's a commercial building.
You've touched on what I said, but I'll try to make it so I can understand it. When you take essentially what was a wood lot that would absorb any rainfall, snowfall, any of those elements to a better degree than when you take all of the trees off of it and then provide a channel, slope or otherwise, from the top to the bottom, water goes to the path of least resistance. And that's what's happening with it. The solution for that is, as I said earlier, a detention pond or a retention. I know they cost money, but that keeps the water from the site on the site and discharges it in a manner that doesn't affect abutters, neighbors, or anybody downstream. That's the solution in every town that I've ever worked in. That's the solution. Not my solution, an engineer's solution. We had engineers in South Portland, I had engineers in the county in Virginia. All of those people reviewed these plans and said that whatever was submitted was adequate or not, made the recommended changes.
JP?
I have a question for the applicant. Sir, does the water come from your building or does it run across your land?
No, not in any way. The board has a submitted flow map of where the water comes from, where it goes, and it does go across my property, just as it does anyone else's. We did not put the culverts under the state highway. We did not put water where it hasn't gone for hundreds of years. It is going in the same direction at the low point that it always has and always will.
Did you hit a spring when you built your building?
The building is very far from any water, and zero water from the building is channeled into the channel that you guys are talking about.
Has your driveway, like,
It defies gravity.
The driveway, people keep saying that a trench goes parallel or down the driveway. That's not actually the case. Do you guys mind if I go over the flow chart that I gave you guys real quick?
Yeah.
I can actually, I don't know if that map's big enough.
We can ride by and see this one.
The
You can take a walk up to it.
is overlapped over the zoning map, which also has wetlands delineations on it.
Who drew it, please?
I did.
What's the name? You just,
And
now you're,
no one in here
You're an engineer?
has, there's no reference to waterway.
I'm saying, you're not an engineer, dude.
No, I'm not an engineer, but I know where water is coming
You weren't an
from.
electrician. You weren't an electrician.
I'm not an electrician. I don't have the guy. So,
I'm a real.
yeah, you are. Can I go over the flow chart? Is it worth going?
I don't know.
No, let's,
relevance
let's move on. Sir?
Tom, you said that we are committed to following the ordinance and not the comprehensive plan.
Didn't say that.
Legal, from the legal aspect.
Said that according to the ordinance, everything has been done correctly.
So that was my opinion.
Yeah, that's his opinion, that everything according to the ordinance has been done.
What is the opinion of the planning board in terms of conforming to the ordinance? And indeed, are we required to follow the ordinance, as Tom says?
I do have one thing, when you keep bringing up comprehensive plan, there is on page 86, one paragraph, that states Maine has enacted laws allowing municipalities to opt in to allow medical cannabis or adult use recreational cannabis facilities. The allowances and power of the municipality differ slightly for each use
but in general, municipalities are given the option to allow testing facilities, manufacturing facilities, cultivation facilities, dispensaries, or retail stores. Many municipalities who do opt in also include special permitting requirements, such as only allowing a specific number of permitted facilities within the community, or prohibiting stores from being located nearby schools. The town should consider their options for both programs and understand the community attitude and desires for these use, or see if they may be well suited. That's brief, but this was written in, acted upon in '24.
Can I follow up on that? All right, so the discussion here is not about the ordinance. The discussion here is about zoning. Period. What is this area zoned for? Is there any conflict? Because as you pointed out, they are in conformance with the ordinance. But the reason why everyone is so upset, it goes back right to the very first thing I said. There is a contradiction between the definition of village residential and village. And until that contradiction is resolved by the town, this is going to happen over and over and over and over again. It's not about an ordinance, it's about zoning.
So according to the ordinance, permissible uses, adult use cannabis cultivation facility, tier 1 and tier 2, in both the village and village residential district require a conditional use permit.
Okay, but we've got inconsistency between the definition of village and village residential, which is my point. And as long as that inconsistency is there, there's always going to be a question.
But it doesn't matter. Going back to the water, and there's a 6,000 square foot metal building there. It took the footprint, it's taken away anything that was there that originally absorbed water before it came down. That metal building does not absorb any water, but shed it right down the road and down and across my property. Which, it's a lot larger and a lot more than it ever was, because there's nothing there with the trees, any tree that's cut, there's no forest stuff, there's nothing to absorb any of that water, but headed east, down east, in Parsons Field.
I just want to say that if, regardless of what any of us do with our land, don't we all have the right to lumber our land how we please? I don't really feel like, that is something that your neighbors can really
Actually rules against that.
say or do about. And I could be completely wrong, but I feel, and it's not like he clear cut a whole bunch of land there. Most of it was already pasture.
The one point I was making, there's more water now because of that. It has created more, because it used to absorb it. He could probably clear cut it if he had all of the right permits, and I'm sure he did. I don't know. The town should have that and know what was done.
Okay, so we're going on an hour 35. Are there any other questions not related to any topic that we've already touched on tonight? Anything that we've not brought up that we haven't already talked about?
Could I just ask one question? It's going to be quick.
Okay.
So I did some research. I found, so just as a quick reference. So we open up a folder. We see a folder that has a permit in it that says it's a 4,500 square foot building. He applies to you for 6,000. Why would someone on the board not at least why would anybody like me or anyone have to even say that? Why wouldn't that already be something that you could have addressed, fixed, and moved on, instead of letting me go, oh, okay, well, there's one thing, what else can I find? Because that's what I did. So if you guys straightened this out in the beginning, you would have had a whole lot less problems.
I agree, and the town has known that it is 6,000, and I pay taxes on a 6,000 square foot building. It was inspected multiple times. I was given occupancy by Jesse Winters. Where that permit is, I know is in question. I'll keep it at that, I guess.
Harvey?
What were you gonna say?
A lot of the problems that we're having right now with records keeping.
Yeah.
And back in 22, there was a different whole system out there and a different personnel and not the computer age attempt to record all this stuff. We actually have a guy hired here in town now just to straighten out the files and put it on computer. And that's going to take time, but we don't have that information before. If it's not in the folder on those 3 or 4 things over there, it gets lost, or sometimes it gets into another file.
Just as a follow-up though, so does that imply that there's other information somewhere else, or is there's nothing else, right? Okay, I guess that's what I want to know.
We'd have to have the current CEO look into it. That's
Said
all.
there could be information someplace else.
Like in
Was
Song
misplaced.
Process?
Pretty much. Could be.
Quick.
Yeah, Denise Crooker, I live in Bassingfield also. Will there be a decision tonight to halt the operation because we've got so many discrepancies, or did I totally miss something? I mean, we don't know what the hell is going on now.
So I don't know about the rest of you, but he already has a facility that's licensed to the state of Maine that we are not,
Even
it's not even in our purview tonight. Our purview is the medical and tier 2 adult use cannabis facility. So his current facility, again, he could continue to use that facility for eons. And that,
Okay.
regardless
What
of,
would have to happen in order to shut him down? There's so many things wrong.
Go to court.
I would assume you would have to go to the state, the medical cannabis, the cannabis office at the state and
File a complaint.
file a complaint and,
The electrical inspector,
yeah,
code enforcement.
yeah.
Okay.
So you're telling me that you know that he's got a 6,000 square foot building that he owes for 4,500, I'm sorry, whatever the hell, 1,500 square feet of building he owes for a building permit fee, which has never been paid, and you're gonna honor him with a conditional use permit tonight. God help us all.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but he would not have been able to get a permit from the Office of Cannabis from the state of Maine for the current facility if he did not have a certificate of occupancy
I
at that
want to
time.
be able to occupy my building.
Not necessarily?
Not from the state, the state
Okay.
wouldn't require that.
All right.
Because the town's not street. That goes back to what I was saying about no documentation to work back and forth.
All right, I'm just gonna say one thing. And that is, when I left the board, I knew this town was in trouble. And I went before the select board on several occasions warning them about pits, about subdivisions, and how our ordinances and our boards were not following the letter of the law. We had a lawyer that was 10 years older than I was. And we got bad information. I warned them, and I warned them. And the reason why there's no records is because this town has gone through about 6 or 7 softwares that have, and near as I can figure, I tried adding up, but it's almost $100,000. And a lot of this information's gone, Harvey. It's just gone. And that includes 2022 and 23. And this goes back to what I was saying, and I was trying to warn them that these problems are gonna come up. These guys can sue the town. If they wanna go get a lawyer, they can sue the town.
I have to move afterwards, so.
Well, there you go. But see, this is what happens in these small towns. We have apathy, We don't get people who want to do the official jobs in the town, and we end up with lackluster performances. This town's growing, I'm telling you, we're in trouble. We're about 1.5 feet below water now. And I'll tell you, once people start suing, and somebody's gonna come in here, he might sue. Okay? I can't say as I blame him, but, you know, this was a comedy of errors here. And I think you should refuse the permit. Just on that alone, and let the selectmen find out what they can do about it. Don't pass this. There's too many discrepancies here. And these people here who live right across the street are getting flooded out. And like this gentleman said, if we get 13 inches in 24 hours.
Why can't we move on? This is like you're beating a dead horse. You keep saying all this and you keep saying it and you keep repeating yourself and repeating yourself. Well, it's you've already said it. It's enough. Why can't we drop?
Because I'm trying to get them to
Go ahead. Enough.
Madam Chairman, how about a moratorium on, for 180 days on planning board action? Would you consider some condition for that? Is that feasible?
I honestly don't know. I don't know what the repercussions would be.
Well, you see what they are now.
You know.
I make a motion to adjourn. Out of here.
Seconded.
All right, we're almost an hour 45. Marnie?
All I want to say is if any follow-up meetings, if we can get out of this room, get mic'd, have a podium, have a microphone, because there are so many people here who are struggling to hear everything. And I know we have it recorded, and that's great. But having that accessibility is really important. And the fact that we have people outside here, and there were people here that left because they couldn't come in. And yeah, so that's just my little 2 cents worth of whatever it's worth.
You said a certificate of occupancy has been issued. How can a certificate of occupancy be issued when there's no final electrical inspection on the building by the state? How can that be?
Find a certificate of occupancy.
Yeah, I don't believe she said. You didn't
Yeah,
say it.
yeah,
It can't be.
no, yeah.
Well, actually, they can, to my house.
Hang on. All right,
Inspector came to the initial, he never came for the final.
I have one more hand raised.
Up on it?
Is there, no, never mind. Okay, is there, again, going on an hour 45, any last questions on any topics we have not touched on tonight? Motion to close the public hearing at 7:44.
I'll make a motion, we close public hearing.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you all. Public hearing is closed.
Thank you.
Kevin? Not what you thought it was gonna be.
I
I'd like to
hope
meet
that there will be questions.
Who you gonna, president, will you do it?
Privately.
You can send them an email or come and talk to them anytime if you want, but I don't think the select board is.
That's quite all right.
The select board is meeting. To discuss to,
5 years.
the facility here to sell.
So I know you're right on top of that.
Different things. So that's,
He shows up.
I know.
First on zone.
The growing facility. No, they're two completely different things, and
Yeah. Hey,
Amazing anything gets done in government.
want to take a quick recess? Guys, we'll take a quick 5 minutes to stretch.
So we can stretch.
Can I pee behind my truck? Is that?
We'll leave the video on so people can watch us with friends.
Oh, God.
Oh, and during, when we're listening to
Good job, folks.
Oh, yeah. Same thing.
I couldn't remember that at all. I didn't. I know. Thank God you do, man.
Thank you for speaking, sir. Appreciate that.
You guys,
We need all the help we can get.
if I wasn't on the ZBA, I'd go back on the
I
plan.
hear ya. I don't understand. We gotta look at all aspects. We get it.
I get it too.
You gotta be a little cordial about it.
I just wanted to introduce you. This is
Excuse me, sir.
Gotta be.
Yeah, the other day.
That's all right. Nice to meet you.
Good Lord. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thanks, sir. President, and she take a survey.
I was Denise. And I said I didn't want to do it anymore, so I joined the price.
I know damn well who you are.
I wish I was back over here.
Travis, you said it to Travis. He couldn't make it tonight.
I would actually text David.
Everybody else. Gotta pay attention.
Oh, yeah.
Invalid is coming your way. You know,
Forgive me for sharing your name.
I don't work for him. They just gave me a hat.
In the ordinances.
Sorry, Harvey.
And so gravel pits can be built because farming for everything that you can do in western areas. What is it? What's the other one? The next one down. Anything you can do there, you can also do. Some of it. And that was, it's not in the ordinance, but somewhere in there, it states that. And they did behind my house. Those are the kinds of things we already clarified. And you should put a market in a residential area.
Monthly report. Not every employee. Every
Where did they have a select?
They have one across the street from
Me too. I'm picking up more than my share.
Take care.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And like I say, all you folks, I love what you're doing. You do. It's such a.
When you're zoning, I haven't seen.
Right?
For the
On?
Hanging in there.
zoning board of appeals.
Well, there's an ad in the paper. Say what it's for.
Oh, it's just to review. Should it's to review the application for the facility. Yeah, it's been elevated by folks here and others have filed
I take up a lot of
Yeah.
Didn't want to bring it up, but one of the reasons we have a lot more, especially down here, it's all minor stone. Some of it would rush right off.
I guess.
As it goes down on the roads, but now it's all stone. So. It's done this, the state, we did it all.
All right, we ready to start again?
I think
All
we
four
can.
of us
I
are
think
back?
we can.
All right.
I don't, we live way back there.
All right.
Anyway, get out of your hair.
Thanks for coming.
No problem.
All right.
See what you do.
You guys ready?
as we'll ever be.
I'm gonna bang my gavel again, 'cause
Hey.
it's actually kind of fun.
Therapeutic, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, we're back at it. Public hearing number 2. Final plan subdivision application, EP Properties LLC, map R13, lot 72.2, Fenderson Maple Crest Roads, proposed 10-lot subdivision. Mr. Picard is here. Austin is ready to go, right? All right, anybody here with questions about the Maple Crest subdivision? Yes, sir.
I don't know if I should stand up or not.
Oh, and it's 7:50.
Okay. So I missed the last meeting. So was there a meeting back on February 17th? Did you guys have a meeting?
There was a meeting on February 18th, and there was a meeting on March 18th.
Okay. You have missed. And part of it was due to winter weather, not having a vehicle to get here. But I went back and I came and visited, and I got copies of the notes from the meeting on December 17th. So I kind of read through what I saw, and I may have misunderstood, but I don't think I have. But what I'm concerned about is what I brought forward about the concerns about the well waters and the test possibly for lead and asbestos due to the old mobile homes that are buried on site, still there. Witnessed it myself, and just a little concerned about where that is, what's happening. I studied your map, the map for the development where the garage is lot number 10. And I've also been informed that there used to be an incredibly huge oil pit behind the garage. And that has probably still there. But I just want you guys to be aware that motor oil is highly toxic. It's toxic. It contains the heavy metals like lead. I don't know, it's cancer causing. It definitely can contaminate groundwater and drinking water. So that was my first question, because we had talked about testing. We talked about soil testing, but I'll get to that. My next question was, because we had asked about response time from the Lynwood Fire Department. And we wanted to know at that point, what the response time was due to fire damage. And technically, we also talked about having a water tank, because there is no hydrants. 10 homes, that's a big number, that's a lot of homes. And in fact, we just had a barn that burned on 160 that there's nothing left. I mean, it's maybe one little wall standing. So that was a concern. So I want to make sure that that has been addressed. Let's see, there was something else here. Got another thing too. So we talked about the soil tests, and I had a question about on the map about soil tests. I'm not sure what those soil tests were. Is that just the preliminary soil tests versus what we had asked about? We had asked about, I believe there was a high intensity soil survey and a hydrogeological survey that was asked. And I'm a little concerned about these tests marked on the map. And I have no idea why. I just need an explanation. But they all seem to be in the front of every lot that's close to either the road or close to the proposed road that's coming off the kind of that right of way with the circle. So they're all strategically just in the front. To me, testing should be periodic and all over, but I'm just asking, just questioning. And the other was just the long-term water stability, the sustainable water table for 10 homes on a well on 10 acres of land. So just questioning, is that going to be something that's going to be sustainable for homes for a long, long time? I know I have a lot of questions, guys. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
And Let's see, you want to answer?
Yes,
Okay.
I can maybe help you with one of them.
Okay.
When anybody sells a building lot with a house on it or a mobile home, they're required to have had a water test for it. Okay, and if whoever's doing this subdivision, I'm gonna just plain phrase this, if they haven't exercised due diligence to protect themselves, and they go in there and build a house, that all of this gets approved, and they build a house, and then all of a sudden the water test comes back bad, they spend a lot of money for naught. And as to where the test holes were dug, it's my estimation that those were done for the purpose of a soils test for a septic system design. And I don't know how big the lots are, because I haven't looked at any of this, but there's a 100-foot separation requirement between the well and the drain field, if you will, and with the right to do a variance that the property owner's the property owner has to sign off on it. I believe you can go down to 80 feet. The roof may have changed since the last time I got certified. But, and as to the burial of the mobile homes on the site, I don't know who did it or why they did it. Scrap metal seems to be worth quite a lot of money today. They may have been a nuisance. Something in Parsonsfield, you can't move a modular home from one site to another if it predates 1974. I might be wrong, might be 72. And the reason for that is it has aluminum wiring in it, and those things, a lot of them burnt up with people in them because of the aluminum wiring. So,
DEP, because I connected with DEP and they had shared with me that the metals that the homes are made of are
that one escapes me.
Definitely.
I won't lay hands on that one, but.
well, that's what I was told.
But they weren't required not to have asbestos in them in times past. And I'm not suggesting that these people did anything like that, but sometimes if the asbestos is present and somebody is smart enough or aware enough of it, it certainly is cheaper to bury it than it is to pay somebody and clean it up. It costs a fortune.
I think part of it too is we don't have a dome.
Right.
And
It's Liz, right?
Yeah.
I remembered. So I know you said you have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So if at any point you want to hear an answer, if the,
okay, I'll stop.
no, if the engineer or the owner can answer your questions, if you pause for a breath there and they want to step in and answer, are you good with that?
Yeah.
All right.
I wrote them down, and I'll continue to do so with whatever you have.
Okay.
So for the well water testing, in terms of that, in order to get a building permit or during the building permit process, there's going to be a water sample that's taken prior to occupancy. So if they have a failing test, nobody will be able to move into that house. So that should take care of your concern there. Realistically, the state DHS or DHHS, they're not going to let somebody move into a house with toxic water, and that is part of the building permit process. For response time for the fire department, Eric, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe these homes all are going to have sprinkler systems as they're part of a new subdivision in order to meet NFPA requirements, which is the state fire code. So each house will actually have its own fire suppression system, and that will allow, if there is a longer response time, the point of them is to allow people to get out of the house prior to, burning up, like this gentleman had said some mobile homes had. For soil testing, the test pits that you do see on these plans with the bleach fields at the front, those were test pits for suitable soils for septic systems. We did provide a medium intensity soils map, which is done by NRCS or the USDA, which more or less tells you the type of soils that are on site. They're class C and D soils. So right now, they're, a site, we were hearing about water runoff on the previous project. These are less permeable soils, so there's already a lot of stuff running off of them. They have a good idea of what the characteristics of the soils are, and we did provide that information to the board. And in terms of long-term water stability, we did provide a letter from a well driller stating that there is adequate water in the aquifers that are available. That being said, the applicant's actually only proposing a fraction of the lots that could be allowed on the property with the idea of having, larger lots, not
So
over.
I'm going to stop you on that one
Yep.
because we did find out that the ordinance was transposed.
Okay,
So the lots are the correct size according to the ordinance. The
Okay.
1 acre is the minimum.
okay, so we're right at the limit.
You're at the limit.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yes.
But yeah, so in terms of sustainability, it has been looked at by a local well driller. And, you know, to the best of our knowledge, it will have adequate resources.
You got more?
Well, my only concern too was, I'm looking at the map and I think lot 7, 5, 9, and 10 are highly susceptible from the burials of these multi-mobile homes. Definitely, those are the ones that come to mind as far as being close to where I remember the burials.
Oh, yeah, refined, not garage.
But as it's been sitting in the ground for a long time, and lead doesn't leave the ground for a long time. I don't know if it could affect lot 8 or 3.
That's pretty cool.
So it was a little bit of a concern.
Can I? I'm Linda Marsh, Cram Road. I've lived here for 76 years in this town. And I'm wondering about, since we're talking about water and things that are buried that are toxic, do they interact? Do we have toxicity moving based on the water movement in the area?
It could happen, I'm sure.
Just wondering.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe the engineer would have an answer to that.
Realistically, if it gets into groundwater, there's a likelihood of transport. I don't know what the groundwater in the area is doing. I'm not a hydrogeologist. Like I said, it was reviewed, the requirements for a well driller to tell if there was adequate capacity. But realistically, yes, if there is something leaching from a previous burial, from the previous owner, there's a possibility of that. The only good thing about this is if the applicant is building in these areas, there'll be full foundations, and realistically, there's a pretty good likelihood that this would be exposed and would have to be remediated as part of the construction process.
So I have a question about the removal, because I've also read up a little bit and about the removal. Once it's unearthed, it can actually, it can travel. It's like mold spores. It's mold spores, and mold spores actually can travel anywhere from 2 to 3 miles, from my understanding. And I feel bad for whomever's going to be doing the excavating, because they are extremely at risk if it's a high level. And the other piece is, unfortunately, for all the abutting neighbors, all you have to do is breathe it, and you can get it. And I realize that happens all over the place probably, but that's a concern. This young family that lives in the farm, they have 2 young girls, and it's sad to think that we're contaminating by just unearthing and removing to clean these things, which I don't know. To me, that was a risk. That was one of my concerns there. Yeah, I know. So that's kind of what I've discovered in my digging, so to speak.
I can't say no that this didn't happen. I happen to know Danny Dunnels personally, consider him a friend.
I do too.
I never remember them disposing of oil haphazardly in the backyard, on the side, or
I don't think
anything.
it was him. I think it was whomever owned the garage before him.
When they built it, best of my knowledge.
He did.
I think somebody used it as
Somebody may have used it along the way.
as a dealership where or just a car where they did mechanics and they drained, the oils from the car. And in the old day, know, you don't think twice about it. You just go for it, you know?
I've changed the oil in my head and had some spill in my gravel driveway. Never turned around and dumped it out. But I would, if it happened,
I think it's buried. I think that's the issue.
They didn't bury it. They had a waste oil furnace in the garage that they burned it.
yeah, there you go. I remember that now.
So Dan did.
Dan did.
I was shared by an older member of the community that was to my attention. So it's just a concern. It's just a concern. That's what it's about.
Is that garage gonna stay?
No.
The garage being removed.
So in the process of taking that down, you're gonna be doing some excavating around. You're gonna figure out if there's any oil in the ground there at that point.
Correct, yes.
One rainstorm will tell you.
Yes, sir.
And then the other question was, is what is a drainage easement? I noticed that I have read a lot about drainage easements on this map. And it's not on the property itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's abutting neighbors that are allowing it. Is that what's happening?
No, so what you're seeing on the plan, there is a drainage easement that's proposed along the outside of the proposed right-of-way. And what that's doing is allowing grading for the roadway. So the vegetated ditches that'll be there, it'll be rip-wrapped in order to stabilize everything so that there's not sediment transporting all around the site. So that easement is more or less just to allow grading, and if road maintenance ever needs to take place, there's grading within that easement that will say, okay, so you purchase this house, you can't tell whoever needs to fix this ditch that they can't do it because it's within an easement that's intended for that purpose.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Houses can actually have gutters and downspouts and end up draining in the ditch. I'm not an expert, but that wouldn't pose a problem in my mind. That does add a little water to the situation.
Yes, sir.
Not uncommon.
Any other questions?
Did they end up, did you get the test for what we had talked about on the very end about the high intensity soil survey? That has been done?
I believe that was done. I'm filling in for the project engineer, but when I was looking through the information earlier, there was a soil test that was submitted. Desiree, you may be able to.
Yeah, I don't think it's the high intensity. I think it was like you said earlier, I think it's just a medium intensity.
Okay.
I'm correct, you waived that.
Yeah, there was a reason and that's escaping me. It was, I want to say it was as simple as it being an open field. Anybody
So I remember something about that.
jog your memory?
Yeah, it was, you had the medium one, there wasn't vegetation to be removed. There wasn't going to be significant change to the surface of the ground, except for, of course, putting in homes.
I'm concerned about more erosion or anything.
Yeah, we weren't concerned about more erosion because we weren't removing any forest material.
That's why we waived it.
Well, not we, but you weren't moving any material.
Aren't these variances, when you're doing a project that big, and you're having a big impact on something that has been really natured for a long, long time, aren't variances supposed to be, I guess for me, I don't know if everybody else thinks of that, but to me, those are buffers protecting neighbors, the environment, the development of how the property is developed. Aren't those there for a reason? Because normally, and I know that you had shared that they had a 32 hit list, but it's something that in order to get through that, I question the variances.
So I want to stop you from saying it's a variance because it wasn't a variance. A variance is something very different.
Oh.
We waived the requirement. A variance is something that has to go before the zoning board of appeals and get approved from them. completely different process. I just don't want to get that into that muddle with this.
Weren't there two variances that were
Not a variance.
not a variance?
They're waived.
Waivers granted?
Yeah, waivers. Bigger book. So, bear with me. I know it's here.
Fire phone or something, because the fire department said, okay.
Um,
I got it right. You got it?
yeah, so the high intensity soil survey and the hydrogeological assessment. So I can read you the request and why it was, why they asked for it to be waived, and then from there. So the high intensity soil survey included the medium intensity soils report generated by NRCS with their application materials. Wetlands within the site have been delineated and are shown on the plan, and two soil test pits on each lot have been excavated. The test pits, evaluated by certified soil scientist Mark Hampton Associates, Inc., indicated that the soils on site are moderately well-drained glacial till soils. So that was the median intensity report. The hydrogeological assessment, the site is not located over a mapped significant sand and gravel aquifer, and the soil test pits do not indicate that extensive areas of shallow to bedrock conditions exist on site. The soils on site will allow for a septic disposal bed on each lot, and adequate distances will be maintained between the new drinking water wells within the project and any existing wells on abutting properties. So again, because it wasn't on the sand and gravel aquifer, the board, it wasn't just me, the board felt that that was a good enough to waive. For lack of better words. My brain is fried, I'm sorry. Jim?
That's a fantastic engineering group. I've worked with them.
They are?
Had a big project in Sebago that they did for us. First class.
Yep.
First class.
I was very happy to see that name on both of the subdivision reports that we get.
Brian Milliken, I don't know if he's still alive. I hope I outlived him. Is he still alive?
He's not with the company. I've been there a decade and I've never met him. I hope he's still alive as well. He did a good thing for me. So.
Any other questions?
Oh, I did it. Are these stick built?
Yep.
Yes.
I believe so.
We're gonna add that as a condition just in case.
I'm rather pleased with that, and I think that's you guys are sticking your necks out.
I did listen to a lot of people had to say. So we're trying, the hard part is,
Absolutely.
is to keep the prices down as much as we can, but with the cost of everything these days, I mean, it is what it is.
Going up daily.
Right now, yes, sir.
Something that hasn't been discussed is, and it's all, from a town manager's point of view, my concern was always the budget. And the influx of 10 new houses is how many kids are associated with it. How is that going to affect the school system, if you will? Because it costs between $9,000 and $12,000 per student to educate them. And you're going to get $3,000 to $4,000 worth of tax revenue on a property. It's a losing proposition, but we all suffer the consequence of that because.
So to answer that, we did send a letter per the ordinance to the road commissioner, the fire chief, the school superintendent, and the state police. You did get the state police. All to them, and the only person we heard back from was the fire chief. I'm more than happy if any of those reach out to us.
It's not a ground for denial by any stretch of the
No,
imagination.
no.
Something you need to be aware of.
Yeah, no, it's been brought up many times throughout the application. Appreciate the reminder.
And then we had talked last time, when I was at the meeting, we had talked about buffering. Buffering from the pollution, light pollution, just aesthetics.
We added trees down the road on the last plan that you may have not seen.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
I think every 50 feet.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's on Overlook in the subdivision. They are maintaining the trees on Fenderson. Yeah, and I know you're talking the Maple Crest side.
Well, no, and just the abutting owners across the way.
Yeah.
Across the way. It's usually when it's this amount of homes, most towns do have buffering. It's not, it's something
It's
not
not a lot where it's in
acceptable.
a field.
Right.
Well, it's in a
If it was lots, you would leave trees
On the lot.
around the lot, the whole lot. But we're also trying to build affordable homes, so if you go put $20,000 in landscape in every house, you're defeating the purpose of what people can afford.
You'll never make it.
No, not at all. I'm not saying that to be mean, I'm just trying to bring up.
And you gotta remember from our perspective, this is a high intensity impact compared to what we've had for a long time.
I know.
That's-
A lot of
that's
people
why
that plant what their personal
Yeah.
references anyway.
Some more, I don't know.
If it was me buying a house right there, I'd put up a fence to block myself from Maple Crest, but that's just me. You know,
Fences make the best neighbor. If you got a good neighbor, it's worth walking around. If you got a neighbor you don't like, you stay on your side. I don't know.
right.
So you as the developer, I have to ask, because I asked this last time. What if you have someone that comes in and they're real interested, but they say, oh my gosh, this is just too darn tight for me? Are you willing to let the next lot go if they ask for the
If
next
they
lot?
buy a double lot, sure.
You're willing to do that? Can we put that in as a condition?
No.
It's economics. You want to buy 2 lots, you buy 2 lots.
You want to buy 10 lots, you buy 10
Want
lots.
2 lots.
Yeah, you don't want nothing next to you, you buy it.
Right.
I've been doing this since I was 9 years old. I've only seen one person my entire life buy 2 lots in a subdivision.
Really?
And the other side of them was a valley. So we only had to buy
I was gonna say,
2 to have nobody next to them.
Yeah.
Donnie, Don, didn't you buy 2 lots?
Yeah, buy 2 lots,
Yeah. Wanted to make sure nobody built in front of you?
it's way back there. No, we bought 2.
Yeah.
Had to get that far away from you, I was like, oh,
Yeah, it didn't work out very well, did it?
Joe.
Oh, any other questions? And it was Tyler, not me.
That's funny.
No?
I think that's it as far as this. So going back to the high intensity soil test, is that going to be a requirement?
We've already waived that.
We've already waived. Oh, yeah, we
Yep.
talked about that.
Yep.
We waived it. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, bye-bye.
No?
Nothing prevents a property owner from putting trees up afterwards. I have a feeling that not everybody wants to live in a field, so
Right.
that's gonna happen sooner or later.
Yep.
So will the trees be replaced if they die, the ones that are being planted?
Yeah, so the new trees on Overlook.
I mean,
They would be his responsibility until the last lot sold, at least that's my understanding.
there's that.
Yeah.
They don't die.
Right. So I guess to follow up on that is, they are building to road to town specs, that is the plan, with the possibility in the future of the town, going to town meeting and accepting Overlook Drive as a town road. Another impact. If the town does adopt it as a town road, it becomes town responsibility. If the town does not adopt it as a town road, then the developer, the owners would need to go back and possibly create an HOA, and then it becomes the lot owner's responsibilities.
So they'd have to pay for the maintenance of the road. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, if the town does not accept it as a town road, it then becomes the landowner's responsibility. It becomes their responsibility to create an HOA to maintain that road. Yes, sir.
I'm a little fuzzy, it's been a long time. The property owner initial needs to have some kind of an agreement drawn up. Could be in the absence of the town's approval. But there's a lot owners association that's formed on, at least on paper, so that everybody that buys a lot realizes that if the town does not adopt the road, they're responsible for chipping money into some kind of a fee to pay for the maintenance of it. That would protect them and you folks for approving the project without.
That was the plan.
Right.
To do, so
Right.
that's a pretty much a standard thing.
Any other questions?
When you have a lot of people sitting out here that might be here for the first time, it's a puzzle to me, and I always try to speak in a manner that, not to question somebody's intelligence, but at least speak in terms that they understand. And I noticed tonight, in all of the people that we had there was several people that still didn't understand when it was all said and done. I think they went home wondering what the hell it was we were talking about.
Sure.
Having something in writing would have been useful. Having a line what you wanted to talk about. I'm not talking about this meeting.
We have a whole document.
Are you talking the agenda? For what?
Not the agenda.
I think they're talking about the application.
Oh, yeah, so we have the agenda for the order of the meeting. The applications are posted online and they're available at the office to review and look through, but there's no way for us to make enough copies for everybody in the public. Again, they're on the website for everybody to view. If you wanted a hard copy, you're more than welcome to come in and ask the office to print one off. Yeah. Any other questions? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Once, twice, thrice. Motion to close the public hearing at 8:22.
Motion to close the public hearing at 8:22.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Alrighty, next on the agenda is correspondence, and I tell you what, we got a bunch.
Of course we do.
All right, so just to start at the top, correspondence regarding 04047's application. We had a public hearing notice. The advertisement went to the Sharper's Guide. It was published on 4/8, which allowed us the 10 to 14 days requirement to publish. It also was in today's paper. The abutters notices and labels, I printed the abutters notices. I don't think I got to the labels. Those went out. I got this Smith email from 4/19. Did you, Adam? Hey, Adam, did you clear out your mailbox? Your email? Okay. I told her your email was full.
She got it for me, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
It's okay.
yeah, thanks for putting me on the spot.
We got an email from, or a letter and an email from Parsem on 4/21. We got an email from Ms. Snow on 4/21, email from Mr. Godomsky today, and an email from Aaron Burgoyne today as a public citizen. And last minute, JP, I don't like last minute. But JP sent an email at 5:55 for that. Next is we got abutters notices for the Maple Crest Estate subdivision, and we sent the letters to the school superintendent, the road commissioner, the fire chief, and Maine State Police. Regarding the Shea Maplewood subdivision, we have an email from Mr. Merrill on 4/2 and an email from Mr. Shea on 4/12. We also had Paul Ferris submitted his resignation from the board. So we do have an opening for an alternate. This is the perfect time if anybody wants to get out and volunteer.
Any suckers?
And we have the select board updated the permit fee schedule. Definitely a few things on there that are, in my opinion, a little bit overdue. I think there's a few in there that maybe could go up a little bit, but that's just my opinion. And then next on the agenda is review of minutes. We do not have the March 18th minutes, but we do have workshop minutes from April 1st and teeny tiny sidewalk minutes from April 11th. Anybody make a motion on either or both to accept them as they are?
I make a motion, we accept them as they are.
Second?
Second. What was the result? I'm sorry, I missed that.
For the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So we went and saw the property. Of course, one house is already built. Refresh me, it was the manufacturer had a house available that needed a home for
Immediately.
them.
Got declined in another town and it was sitting. So we worked with them, we have for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Norm said to do one, just understand that if you fall into a problem, it's with all your land.
Mm-hmm.
But we spoke to a lot of people and what we were doing was pretty straightforward. Didn't really see any hiccups in it, so we went forward and
Mhm.
the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all the site was laid out, septic, wells, driveways, the two other houses. I mean, to me, they looked good, so.
Highland.
Does this take the place of an early application? We wanted to move it up the meeting.
We're gonna talk about that in a few
That's
minutes,
coming up.
but, yeah,
I want to get to the bottom of the list too.
right? We gotta work our way in order, Harvey. But yeah, to me, the site is, the site of the three houses is perfectly acceptable. We'll have to see when we get into the application and actually go through line by line in the application, how we move forward. But yeah,
I did drive by the other day, but I'm sorry I missed the site visit.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't mention drive-by to the town hall.
Okay, yeah, you're
Thought
right.
you were bringing the coffee?
Oh, you were supposed to make
Oh, no,
breakfast.
oh, no. He's always putting it on me.
So you motion, we have a second. All in favor on the minutes? Cool. Back to Mr. Godowski. It is 8:27, so we have some time. Conditional use permit 04047 LLC, map R5, lot 25, land lot North Road, medical and tier 2 adult use cannabis cultivation facility. Is there anything you would like to say or bring up?
So I think you guys have gotten our correspondence. Hopefully you've had time to go over it and you can answer any questions you need them.
Perfect.
You
Anybody
don't by
have-
chance have copies of any of the occupancy permits or inspections, do you?
I didn't know it was missing. No, I don't.
Neither did we.
Apparently we didn't either.
Right.
Which was brought very abruptly.
I had one back in 2023, obviously, while the CEO may have been disorganized or whatever the case may be. I saw my project through, being right there, and I don't have any.
You have to have that for the state.
I'm sorry?
Did you have
No.
to have that for the state, that they might have a copy?
I'm not sure.
No.
It's just a town thing.
I don't know. I know the electrical inspector probably would have wanted that to install, especially a high power service.
Yeah,
I really don't know.
But did they keep a copy? Yeah.
Who knows?
Because usually they give you the occupancy permit unless the electrician, LaFlemme, okays the commercial setup that you put in there.
Yeah, and again, this was not something that we willy-nilly did or I was bootlegging
Right.
or whatnot. We worked with all the proper overseers when conducting the project.
Right.
I know you guys have got the correspondence in regards
Oh.
to the permitting issue, but there was 3 months in between the time I applied for the permit and when the permit was issued. In that time frame, the concrete schematic, the building was being manufactured elsewhere. The size changed by 10 feet long and 10 feet wide in that 3-month period. No construction had occurred, just the actuality of the engineering of the building. And then the permit was written on 3 months later on 5/22, and the original language from the application was transferred onto that. So that's all I can think of as far as, because they knew it was, it's been reappraised multiple times. So an independent appraiser has been out there with a tape measure measuring the building. Winters measured the building many times. I'm taxed on the building properly. I don't even know that it's the case that I was even undercharged on my building permit. I'm not sure if anyone's done the math on that, but I I doubt he would have undercharged me, he would have charged me if the building was being built. So again, I don't have the authority to tell him how to do his job. I don't, you know, I did what was asked of me, and this is where we are.
I get it.
That time's over.
Oh, really?
Any other questions for Mr. Godomsky?
One of the biggest ones I was hearing all night, and I'd kind of like to see something happen with it at all. It's more like a water engineering plan of sorts. Have something, you know, a little more concrete done that, I mean, even if, you know, you say it's been the same all the time. I know, I'm not a hydrologist either. These folks that are asking about it are probably not either, but they've done a lot of,
It's definitely
we're all Google experts, I get that.
Yeah, so again, no water is coming from the building. In that flow map, you can see where the building is positioned. You can also, you know, the wetland delineations are where the water is, you know?
Right.
The water there's not water flowing places from right now where there is water flowing from the outer bodies. So that is where the relevance of that flow map comes in, as you can see the wetland delineation.
Right.
You know, I know there's no sidewalk that's occurred for this, but if
Right.
there was a sidewalk, it would be very evident there's zero water coming.
Exactly. Just for the sake of argument, I know you're pretty good about doing things the right way in town.
I try.
We've seen that. And would you even consider something of a detention pond or something of that nature to help with the water? I mean, just to try and appease some of the neighbors
Absolutely.
and yourself?
There already is. And again, I want to reiterate that I did not put the culverts under the state.
Oh, I understand. I'm not even saying anything of the nature. I'm just,
The DOT easement that sheds the water off of Bud agreed to that to save these neighbors down here
Yeah.
because that water goes directly. in.
Right.
I feel for mine, and that's why we've doglegged it right there.
yeah,
And as far as alterations or whatnot, we have not changed the flow of the water. The water enters and exits on the same areas. What we have done is created a ditch so it doesn't flow indiscriminately. And what that should do is actually dry everything up. So,
right. Which unfortunately, I don't know, I haven't witnessed.
So my top priority is making sure that my neighbors
Well, that's it.
are in
I mean,
impacted.
You want them to be as happy as they can with whatever you're doing, and
I mean,
water seems to be one of the biggest things.
100%. It's
And if it's something you can do with, you know, I don't know, an engineer or something, to get something, I don't know, just an
Yeah.
engineer to look at the situation.
Yeah.
I know it can get costly.
It's not my water, it is the water in the DOT area. And I'm not sure if you guys, I don't expect that you have looked at all the culvert directions. and
Right,
around.
right.
Between the front of the town hall and Tino Lane, I guess it is, the water has nowhere to go. It basically pools, it sits there, it goes into Marty's house.
Builds up and goes where it wants to.
That happens because water runs down the ditches they built on the sides of the road and then has nowhere to go.
Right.
And that has nothing to do with my properties. In that flow map you see, the
Right.
water flows across my properties just as it does anyone's.
Right. No, I get it.
And
Gravity does its thing.
engineering of waterways is that is.
Right. I never claimed to know much about it either.
A new burden that I shouldn't have to. Do I have a couple properties that are in the pathway of the water? Yes, I do. But I don't have the start, I don't have the end of it. It is not coming from my structures, it's not coming from any development. Water doesn't run down the road. What it does do is cross under a road in a culvert, and then the instance that they're talking about in 2023, it was massive flooding across the entire state.
Right.
It was
We get that occasionally anyway.
unprecedented.
Yeah.
Okay, my basement flooded. Well, it didn't flood, but there was a lot of water in the
Right.
basement.
So, I'm not going to say, yeah, I'll do whatever engineering is necessary, is requested of me, I guess. But what I will say is our top priority is making sure our neighbors are not impacted negatively by what we're doing in any way.
Okay.
And that's what we've done so far. That's why,
Right.
I know Marnie doesn't want a store next to her house. She doesn't want development around. However, she has told me, thank you for what you've done to make sure the water doesn't, because we have made sure that it goes directly into there rather than going across their front yard.
I get it. At the end of the day, you can't please everybody. That's just the way it works.
Is this the first time that you've applied for a permit for your building there?
Yeah, so we have not, I don't necessitate this licensing. This is me subjecting myself to a further process, I guess, so that I can achieve an adult use license rather than medical. And what that does is that will allow us to have a future in the industry.
Just opens the market up a little bit more.
Across all 50 states, the medical industry gets done away with, and then it's just transition to adult use, and we need to have that option, or else my livelihood goes away, and that's important to me.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, that's all I had. You guys? Harvey?
Waiting for 9 o'clock. Chris, I think, all in all, this is going to be a difficult finish because we don't have the final say. We can approve whatever we want to approve, but the selectmen, which has another hearing coming, that's going to be another tough one.
But that's not us.
Um,
We're just a step on the
Yeah.
stairs.
That was kind of hard to swallow when I first
Yeah.
the application, because we don't have any say. And the ordinances for cannabis came in, just recently. I mean, it's only been the past year and a half that we've had actually approved ordinances on this stuff. So I had to deal with, maybe you were grandfathered a little bit.
I mean, we technically are medically, it's just the transition is the reason we're here, and what it comes down to is that we are zoned properly to be able to achieve a conditional use permit. And by having that, that's what your decision is based off of essentially, is do we meet the ordinance to achieve the conditional use permit?
Yep.
And if it doesn't have an undue nuisance or disturbance to the neighborhood.
Which is worth assessing, I guess, and that's also what.
Do you know what the distance is from your building to this playground out here?
I know it's 1,000 feet from the end of its driveway, so to here, we would probably be roughly in the, I don't want to guesstimate, but it's well,
Well, I'm
quarter mile.
That's a catch point.
And again, this is highly regulated, and I have a child myself. Children don't have money; they're not our target consumer. It is. Our cannabis does not make it to children. Period.
Well, I understand that part, but I mean.
I'm just referencing. That's where I thought you would be going with the playground.
Shame.
You never know.
I understand the complaint of historical traditional uses, but considering that this is a farming usage, farming has changed, and I spent time out front of the properties before we came in tonight, and I couldn't see any facility.
And a lot of expense went into achieving that, so that, I live in one of the historic homes that we're talking about. So, my horse barn, our barn, the store we're about to build will all coincide with the historical beauty, I guess you could say. This is a metal rectangle building. It's not beautiful. It's nice. It's just not historic looking, and that's why we put it at the back of my lot.
You have backup generators?
We don't. It's a lot of power to back up. It'd be a big generator.
I guess it would.
You don't have three-phase, and that would cost you a fortune to put that in.
Yeah.
I think it ends right up the hill.
Yeah, we looked at actually extending the three-phase to a facility, and it was substantial.
Maybe you can hook up to the generator out here on the town hall.
You said it's okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, I'm also.
So, quick question for the board. Am I still on the agenda for tonight?
You're Colby?
Yes.
You are. We might not get to you.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm so sorry, but we can't take up anything new after 9 and those.
And I got a 15-hour trip ahead of me to South Carolina. I just sat here for 3 of it for 10 minutes.
Sorry.
What a fucking joke.
And we still might be able to get to them, which is the sad thing.
What's that?
We got, we're running close, but.
Yeah. Try to get through this and the subdivision. I
Fair.
don't think so. All right,
Which one was?
time out. All right, so before we go any further, my note, CYA, let's move Dan up to voting, just to
Yeah.
make sure. So motion to move Dan up to voting member in the absence of the other planning board members.
Yeah, I make motion we bring Dan Bushman up.
Second?
Voting member.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Perfect, thank you.
You're in like that.
All right. So we've already approved the application is complete. We've already waived the site walk due to the nature of the site
Right.
and the existing
Then we've had,
operation.
we've had a hearing.
We have advertised, we've sent the butters notices, we've had the public hearing. Looking at conditions of approval, we can attach any approvals that we see fit regarding street improvements, access restrictions, hours of use, buffers and screening, utility improvements, and performance guarantees for any off-site improvements. Looking through those, it's a private driveway. I don't think there's any street improvements for us to
No.
worry about. Access restrictions, he's already got a fence.
One question before
Sure.
we go too far.
Yeah.
Is there a permit for the driveway? Is that a DOT permit thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was permitted in 2020.
Okay.
It was actually, the road was built 2 years preceding the building.
Okay. I just,
We're just gonna take his word and no paperwork? What the hell is the matter with you people? Honest to God. You guys won't believe me?
I think, can you please let us deliberate,
Thank you.
please?
So yeah, what were you saying, Roger?
who the hell knows now?
Right. Street improvements, we don't need to add any conditions about street improvements.
I wanted something about some sort of plan, but
Oh, for the water?
yeah,
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Some kind of assessment, maybe,
Okay.
as part of a approval.
or, I don't know.
I'd like to hear from the CEO on that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd like to hear from Norm on his assessment of the water. But also, I think it's important that we have these documents, so I think conditional on
Some of
that we either find and locate all of these documents, or that we get Norm to, and the prospective authorities to re-inspect, just to make sure that we have documentation that everything is up and good.
So I guess my question is, do we make these conditions of approval, or do we make these conditions that need to be met before we can make a decision?
I'm not sure there's any, aside from, I personally haven't found anything that would allow, that would say that we could say no in any of our ordinances. Following the ordinance,
In the plans.
following, yeah, I'm not sure that, unless you guys see something, I wasn't sure, I didn't see anything where there's any violation. It's a conforming lot, He even has double the amount of space for a conforming lot. So even in the case that it was a commercial primary or a commercial secondary principal use, it would qualify under that as well, which is his right to be able to do. I couldn't see it. The water was the one nuisance thing. As long as there's a willingness to address it for the neighbors, and all else in conformity is followed with the building, you know.
I'm sorry, if I could just interject one more nuisance thing, just very briefly.
No.
Electrical image.
So again, the inspection thing becomes the most clear need.
Right,
Um,
yeah, so,
you guys think? Do you guys think that this is a condition of approval or a condition before we address?
I say condition of approval.
it needs, so condition of approval, and we need copies before he can, well, I mean, you
Right.
gotta go before the selectmen anyway, but it's
Right.
conditions of approval before he starts
Before he
any of
makes
the
his
other
ne-
operations.
Yeah, before he makes his next steps, that,
I'm planning on spending some time helping Norm with filing anyways, so I can always look myself as well and see if I can't locate.
see if you can find that driveway permit too to throw in there.
He said that's what he needed.
I'm sure you do, but
All right,
everybody around here thinks everybody's dishonest, so.
okay, so,
Just winging it.
so and again, just to kind of tighten everything up and make sure we get exactly what we want here. What exactly are we asking that Chris asked Norm to look at?
Occupancy permit,
Well, street improvements first.
street improvements, I don't know.
That the street, that the access to the building fits our mandated, you know, guidelines for said
For driveway.
driveway access. That the water is addressed as it should be based on the necessary driveway. And that there's no issues with it, no disturbed ditches, no blockages, no faucets turned on directly into the ditch. The water hose is not contributing directly. Just make sure that it's up to code,
Okay.
you know.
And I don't know if it's redundant, but I did include the CEO's letter already approving his use of the building as a cannabis facility, so.
Yep.
The road commissioner, okay, that.
He doesn't have to.
Well, it's a state road.
DOT, the
DOT.
state road, yeah. That's what we were mentioning earlier.
You needed to, it's a DOT, but you didn't get the DOT permit. You did. So the state came and inspected the driveway and so they've already given their approval on the driveway.
Always do, there wouldn't be a driveway there.
Just working over, you can't do anything
Yeah.
on a state road without.
There wouldn't be a driveway there if you didn't get one.
Yeah. So I guess considering we've already gotten state approval for the driveway, I guess Norm would be just checking to make sure that the access and down into the facility is okay.
Okay, so we need the DOT, so copy of the DOT driveway permit. And we want Norm to inspect the driveway and the drainage and confirm everything.
Just to address any concerns, of course.
I think that will, I think that will clarify some things for some people, so.
So to expound on that, would you be willing to walk him to the edge of the property where the water is coming from? You're saying it's coming across your property?
Oh, of course.
Walk him to where it's coming across your property, have him take some pictures.
We are not hiding anything. I'm bending over backwards and will continue to. We're gonna see this through, so.
Right.
Whatever we have to do.
CEO. All right, so that's street improvements. How about access restrictions? Again, he's already got a gate at the end of the road. My only thing was you had in somewhere in the application about the fire department having a key or a Knox box. Do you have a preference?
Fire chief said not necessary. If they pull up, they will cut the lock and be in immediately.
Okay, so we don't need to worry about that.
They'll just lose the
Sorry.
key if I give them one.
Right? Right. Sounds about right. He's probably got,
Where's the documentation?
We have that dated February 6, 26.
From the fire chief.
From the fire chief, and you have that where
Yep.
it says that he has a key to access the.
correct. I just wanted to make sure we did that and not the Knox box. I mean, honest, if they really wanted to, they could probably just bulldoze the truck down through the gate.
Right.
Okay, so that's taken care of for access restrictions. Hours of use, it was 8 to 6, which is what you already have, correct?
I'm not sure, whatever the ordinance.
Right.
That's whatever the ordinance says.
But again, this is not a public facing
Right.
facility, so.
Strictly
it is
employees.
Coming into that, open hours, it's slightly different, it's early morning to.
Yeah, 8 to 6 is
Yeah,
what's in that.
so basically 8 to 6 is when a truck is gonna pull up, pick up product and leave.
Maybe once a month. but
Right.
More so, someone will be there to oversee the facility.
Correct. Do we need, I mean, that's what the ordinance is requiring. I mean, if somebody sees him there before, or,
Right. That's
you know,
code enforcement.
right,
And then, yeah, just we need to find the documentation. And either this is my thought, right? Either we find it and that's good.
Yeah.
Or if we don't find it, then we'll need to
You'll need to get it issued.
check, just so we have that paper proof.
Put
Right.
copies in the shopper's
Right.
guide for everybody to see.
I mean, I know you already are planning to go by the ordinance and do the 8 to 6, but I'll put it as a condition in the
What's the
letter.
condition?
Just that it's 8 to 6, 8 AM to 6 PM.
Okay, and it's in the application.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so we'll just, put it in there so it's black and white. Buffering and screening, again, if you drive by,
Nothing to see.
right,
Yeah, there's nothing, I didn't see anything.
right. I mean, you're not planning to clear cut or anything like that,
This is because it's gonna be,
right? Utility improvements, again, it's an existing building that is operational,
Working out of it for 4 years.
right? I don't think there's any utility improvements that we can impose that he's not already following.
Fair.
And performance guarantees for required off-site improvements. Again, I don't think there's any off-site improvements that we need to worry about there. So can you tell me a little bit more of the timeline after, let's say we approve this? You gotta go to the selectmen. Is there anything else you need from the state to move forward?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, so once the selectmen approve the license, so you're approving the use, goes to the select board to approve the license, the facility license that will allow me to operate. And then for the adult use side of it, he has to take that back to the state, and we're working right now on a very comprehensive application for the state.
okay,
So it includes facility drawings, security drawings. You have to show every single alarm, every single camera. It's very comprehensive, what goes to the state. Once they have that, they come out and inspect and make sure that what is in the application is actually what's happening on the ground. They can request more information. They can ask questions, and then eventually they issue an active license for him to operate as an adult use cultivation facility.
do you know about how long that takes?
It generally takes, the whole process, I tell people to allow a year.
Okay,
Once we get through the town process, it's probably gonna be 6 to 9 months.
yeah. Okay,
But he can keep operating what he's
Right.
doing.
right, right. Yeah. I know.
A lot of people are getting screwed here.
And believe me, I did not expect either public hearing to take 2 hours. Back to the board, do we feel that we can make a decision tonight? Do we need more time to think about it?
What do you think, Hap?
Well, I'm kind of watching this young fellow over here. He has the background and knowledge, and I know what a lawyer can do to a board like this. I used to sit next to him, the last subdivision was horrendous.
That's a hell of an admission.
Oh, but all in all, I understand Chris's, decision here, but if we could just get one more time at this and have a lawyer here to help facilitate whatever we're doing, and I'm not sure what what the selectmen would say about that, because that costs the town money. I don't know.
propose that you have a lawyer review rather than having another hearing, which I don't believe is in the process outlined in the ordinance.
Yeah, it really isn't.
Correct.
As a condition, have a lawyer review to make sure that the ordinance truly is met.
We could do that.
Have them review the ordinance, have them review the application, have them review what conditions we've laid
Yes.
forward.
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay,
So that would be a condition,
great,
Yeah.
you approve with that condition that they.
Okay.
okay. So back to the top. So the DOT driveway permit,
Yeah.
the CEO inspection
Yep.
of the drainage. We'll add in the condition of 8 AM to 6 PM just to make sure. Conditional use permit, or not conditional use permit, that's what we're doing right now.
Right.
Certificate of occupancy.
Can I ask a question on that? What if that just doesn't exist?
If it doesn't exist, then the condition would be that we need to get re-inspected.
Okay,
Right,
so a new one can be issued.
I would say yes, because you obviously either had it at one point, because, so we need a copy for the file. So while Norma's out there, if it's not found in the office, while Norma's out there, just have him review the site.
Should we consider calling in Jesse for his estimate to, if there's no permit, is there a permit even?
I'm not sure.
I doubt he would answer.
Yeah, that's probably true. There is a permit, right? People
Yes, it-
decided the permit.
There is a certificate of occupancy permit that is issued with the CEO's
No,
signature.
I'm saying that,
Have you seen that?
Chris, that people have seen your building
It
permit,
was a general,
right? So
general.
people were quoting the building permit, not the occupancy
Correct.
permit, but the building permit. So we know that exists.
Correct.
We just don't know that the occupancy permit or plumbing inspection or electrical expansion exists. So those are the things we need to document.
Right.
It's easy enough to even reconduct that,
Right.
especially now that it's done. It's all right there.
The other thing was the electrical permit.
Electrical.
Yep,
It's
so,
not an electrical permit, that's part of the occupancy permit. So the electrical permit, well, I misspoke. There's an electrical permit.
Right.
That's open during the time of construction when the electrical work is going on. Once the electrical work is considered complete, the state closes that, and it was closed in 2023. So that indicates that the electrical passed. That's what that indicates.
so what you're saying is the electrical would have had been finished and done before the certificate of occupancy
Yes.
they get it? Okay.
Yes.
So when Norm goes out and inspects everything, he's going to be able to say.
Yes.
And that document that you, or that we have shows that particular permit or that particular,
The permit is to run electricity. That's what the permit is for, just like a building
Right,
permit is.
right.
So it's to run electricity. Through the process of running the electricity, the state does interim inspections. Once the state is satisfied that it's been done right, they close the permit. And that's what then says that it was approved. I know it's a weird kind of, so he does.
yeah, I mean, just, I understood all that, absolutely. I just mean the documentation of that, what I saw, that piece of paper that I had that showed that they had closed the permit.
Yeah.
Is that documentation of what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, where it says it's closed. Yep.
Very good.
So I know you have that copy. Can you just send that over with everything in the final? All right, driveway, hours, drainage, condition, certificate of occupancy. Anything else?
That's it.
Motion?
Motion to accept with all these conditions.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? I'll get you a letter.
Thank you.
1 minute to spare.
So if we start right now, we'll get through it.
I don't have the brain power for you tonight.
You gotta,
I'm easy. I should have said that.
Unfortunately, no, I'm sorry.
We're not allowed
I
to
would
vote
much
anything
rather,
tonight.
I would much rather postpone and have fresh brain cells.
Next week.
No. No. Have a request from Mr. Shea to have a special meeting to advance his subdivision. It's up to the board.
I'm okay with it.
I mean,
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Actually, heck of it. I
yeah,
mean, if we could, can we add some other people to it if we're gonna be here anyway? Or is there something special that has to be done?
Can we open it, workshop,
Had to open,
yeah.
last thing?
So so here's my dilemma, guys.
Okay.
To get it advertised and have 10 days notice, it would be the 13th, which is the week before our regular meeting. Well, sorry, I should be talking to you guys because I'm working on a special meeting and you guys. Again, it's up to you guys. I don't think a week is gonna be a big difference, but that's my opinion. But for proper advertisement and anything, the earliest we could do is the 13th. And we already have a meeting on the 20th.
We get fine. And that, if.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to do a public hearing.
yeah.
I thought,
Another one like tonight.
Very difficult question.
Can you promise that? Can you actually,
so what, so, I don't want to drag you guys on anymore, but what would the 13th be for? If it wasn't.
Sorry?
What's the?
it would be the public hearing.
that would be you guys. You guys requested the,
Yeah.
us
but
move
what
forward.
would be-
It would be for completeness.
Right.
And then at the next one, you get your public hearing, and after the
Right.
public hearing, if there's no major concerns, you would get final approval.
Right. So again, there's no way for us to approve it as complete on the 13th and have the public hearing the next week on the 20th. There's just no way for us to advertise and have
Ordinance
that done.
forces to go with the timeline.
Right.
Going for the hearings tonight being what they were.
So what would our best case scenario be on approval?
So if we held the meeting on the 20th, like we already are, it's complete. We have a public hearing on June 17th.
Vote on it right after.
Yes, there's the possibility of voting on it on the 17th.
19th of May?
Of June. So the biggest thing is that we have to determine it's complete before we can schedule the public hearing. That's the biggest snag on our side. And like you've seen tonight, there's a lot of stuff that people get upset about.
So unfortunately, we're tied by the ordinances, but the soonest we could speed that up would be by 1 week.
Right. And then again, from there, it would be the June meeting for the public hearing. So again, it's according to the bylaws, it needs 3 members for a special meeting.
Yeah. I think mainly the chair can say it.
So it can be called by the chair, but it can be called by 3 members. 3 members of the board.
I don't know, are we doing that or?
I know you want to get this project done. I know you already have the house on. I would feel more comfortable for you to follow the process, follow the schedule we already have. Just to not open yourself up for that, And in case, I mean, we've had a couple improper advertisements with the Shopper's Guide. God forbid we put it in and they don't advertise it correctly and then we got to push it out anyway.
Will it get talked about in the scheduled meeting, like if it's another show like today?
No, so for May, it's strictly between us. We get to ask you questions. We get to tell you, hey, we need this. We get to tell you it's complete. Let's move forward. In June, when we hold the public hearing, that's when everybody gets to talk. They can submit questions for the May meeting, but it's strictly a conversation with you as the owner and your engineer.
And one of them is not going to be a marijuana cultivation building, is it?
No.
You shouldn't have.
Shouldn't have too much trouble.
Right,
Should be all right then.
yeah.
But there's no way to waive that where we already went over everything. There's really no questions to be asked.
No, it's,
It's all procedural from here,
yeah,
unfortunately.
unfortunately, you know, again, reviewing
Well.
the subdivision, our hands are tied to that specific schedule. You know, it's
Yes, to do it.
30 days from completeness for a public hearing, 60 days from that completeness for a decision. So, you know, you're like, unfortunately, your best case is the June 17th meeting. So,
To be all done.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I only got one more to go with. Correct.
We got one more, hopefully. Let's cross our fingers.
Sleeping by now.
Yeah, believe me.
And me both.
Glad there's a hockey game on tonight. Yeah, so we'll table you guys. Let's have a motion. Yes, you will go first.
Thank you.
Yes. Let's have a motion to table them since we don't have time to get to them.
All right. Make a motion where you table the Maple Crest
Till the
subdivision till the 20, what?
May 20th.
May 20th.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. You will be first on the agenda. Thank you, guys.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, sir.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, though.
Yep.
Thanks for that board, sir.
We still gotta finish up.
All right, have fun.
Sorry.
Thank you, dear.
Yes, nice, thank you. Thanks for all.
So
Coming, yes.
You're welcome.
Good night.
apologies to Mr. Spencer. I did not
Well,
expect
we,
Say sorry,
that long.
couldn't talk to you guys.
Oh, no.
Um,
we can only do one.
Aaron, Daniel.
Hey, what is it?
Daniel.
Nice to
Yeah, you too.
We will see Southern Maine Planning Development at the workshop. So Dan and I were both at the,
Was the meeting?
not yet, I'm trying to,
Everyone else is moving around and I'm like,
so Southern Maine Planning and Development will be at the workshop. Dan and I were at, or Harvey was there too. The three of us were at the staff meeting last week and that was very productive.
Sure.
It was good.
that being said, I do want to join the next training course. It's like $100. So the town will pay me for last year and then I should be able to swing it with town money.
So the town pays for training.
Oh, okay.
The town pays for the training. The town gets the MMA discount
Yeah,
for the training.
very good.
And when it does come around again, what we'll try to do is, you know, all of us, or as many of us as possible can get together and watch it and just pay one.
Yeah, was it every 3 months or something, right?
It's been longer than that, so I hope it is every 3 months, because that would be great.
Yeah.
The planning board and appeals board training that MMA puts on,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should probably jump on.
Workshop for May 6th. Motion,
We'll do it. Motion.
second,
Second
all in favor?
favor.
Yeah.
Quick questions, Jeff?
Yeah, I know you guys are on the planning board, but apparently, this meeting wasn't very well planned because it was in such a small room. So do you guys have plans on maybe moving it back out to the gym when maybe you anticipate something like this is gonna happen? There's 10 or 12 people out in the hallway,
I was not expecting this crowd.
even when the ad was in the shoppers guide, didn't expect it.
No, the-
Because we used to have the meetings out there,
Right.
in the gym.
Yeah. The report was a little much.
Well,
At least in here, kind of,
it all depends where you put it. If you have the meeting away from the blower, it'll be quieter. If you shut off the water cooler, it'll be quieter. But I get it, but
yeah, we
Probably redesign this. We're not really using these bookshelves.
there is another room, right? The other room is be bigger if you took that over.
I've never seen it.
So-
I've never,
CEO room.
it's about the same.
Oh, it's a double room. It's got a divider, so we can
Oh, yeah, it does.
open up. But anyways, I just,
No,
that's it.
right.
Oh, I
We saw
will be,
it.
I am working
The
on
horse started to get out of the
ordinance
barn on that one.
Yeah.
Before the door got
proposal,
closed.
Yep.
cluster development
All right.
that
Yeah,
I'm
so,
to the workshop.
Thank you, Mr.
yeah,
Wright.
I hope to have a timeline from, we asked for it.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Do you have a question?
You said something about you were short an alternate.
Yes, sir.
What do you have to do to start that process?
But we have to actually let the Board of Selectmen know. Well, they already know, but we have to formally tell them that there's an alternate. It'll be publicized and then they'll have applications for people to fill out.
Yep.
You can be appointed, but this election's coming up in September.
Right. That's what I was gonna ask
That's
them.
the way to get in.
Yeah, that's another way, yeah.
All right,
I was gonna
Thank
ask
you,
them
sir.
if they want to appoint somebody or if they just want to wait for the election.
Do I need to fill out an application, be on the ballot?
You gotta get, your signatures
The
for.
signature,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is that part of an application I'm
Yeah.
gonna fill in?
No, so if you run for election, you just have to take out nomination papers and have them signed. You don't have to do anything else.
Oh, okay.
If you're appointed, so like the appeals board, you have to fill out the,
I got voted
Sign
on.
his name.
right?
Like I did to you.
All right, guys.
That's a good question. What was my term? You said 3 years. Because I was filling in for
I've
somebody.
been here for 20.
I think the last time we talked about it, you said 3 years. So this is just to make me an official big boy. And if I don't get it, I would still be an alternate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see, contact list.
It's kind of like a safety net.
Can we move?
Nope.
No, it's revenue.
We already tried.
Yeah, because
We
Jim,
can't do it now, but I mean,
Jim's
can it be
hanging
moved
still.
up?
we're still live, you.
Let's see, so this open, so Dan, oh, this is the old one, but that's okay. Dan. You filled John's term, right? John moved up. You filled John's term, right?
I guess so.
I think so.
Not sure.
So yeah, his term expires this year, or his old term. So yeah, so for you.
So I need to be on the
You
ballot.
need- Yeah, take out nomination papers to remain an alternate.
Alright.
And then Harvey's, or actually you could take
Regular.
Harvey's position, because Harvey says he's not gonna run. So-
Okay.
So you could take out papers for regular member, not alternate.
That's what I'd like. I'd like to do that. I'd like to do regular member.
Right,
So you guys don't have to vote me to be able to vote every
can vote
time.
you.
right. All right. Motion to adjourn 9:12.
Second it.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Thank you.
Get back. Wife's already sleeping.
Hey,
Dogs are gonna wake up.
guy next week is the guy.
Right?